Just because breastfeeding is natural doesn't mean it's easy. But you don't have to do it alone. That's where the Lactation Network comes in. The Lactation Network helps parents at every stage of the breastfeeding journey. Whether you need support resolving feeding issues, choosing the right breast pump, creating a plan for weaning, or anything in between. The Lactation Network is the largest network of licensed breastfeeding experts in the country. They provide in-home, in-office, and telehealth consultations in all 50 states with no out-of-pocket cost. Get the breastfeeding care you deserve with the Lactation Network. Visit tln.care/podcast to schedule your own insurance-covered lactation consultation today.
Tony Dunn, ain't nothing to it but to do it, brother. Let's roll.
In a world where Carolina Panthers fans have an insatiable thirst for Panthers news and opinions, only one podcast roars ferociously. It's the C3 Panthers Podcast.
What is up, Panther fans? What is up? Tony Dunn, host of the C3 Panthers Podcast, here on another Tuesday night, chopping up the latest Panthers news and opinions from the fan perspective. Each and every week we come at you. We're riding to and from the game together, talking about whatever's going on with the Panthers, and we've got a lot to talk about tonight. Is Sean Payton in play for the Carolina Panthers? Is what we're first asking. Holy cow, the Carolina Panthers have requested an interview with Sean Payton, and he's doing his little parade. And you know what? His parade might be a hair cooler than John Harbaugh's parade in his khaki pants. He's going back to Michigan. But I saw Sean Payton on Colin Cowherd today, and it looks like he may be meeting with the Carolina Panthers. Is that man, the most punchable face, going to be the face I want to kiss? I don't know, but I'm going to find out with my wheel man, Cody Lashney. How you doing, my friend?
Tony Dunn, there's nowhere I'd rather be on a Tuesday night than sitting here chilling with my boys, talking Panthers football. You know we're going to be talking about this coaching search going on for the Panthers right now. Ben Johnson giving us the Knicks. We've got NFL playoff stuff to talk about. We've got veteran quarterbacks to talk about. We've got young quarterbacks to talk about. We have everything that you can imagine to talk about today. And Tony, you know we're going to do it with the best damn Panther fans in all of YouTube. Our guys, Drew, AU Link, Blind Panthers Vlog, Carson 1, Chad Howell, CJA, Cody C13, D'Angelo the Legend, Hemlock, Every Gaming 98, Jonathan Abernathy, Matt Knows Nothing, Michael Davis, Michael Johnson, Panther Pickle, Supreme, Lita, and Tim Estes. Tony Dunn, there's so many people in the chat room, brother. Ain't nothing to it but to do it. Let's roll.
I tell you this, Blind Panther Vlogs in the chat says, y'all still on that quarterback shit? Hell yeah. I told y'all you're either in the land of you got a quarterback or you're in the land of you don't got a quarterback. And the Panthers haven't had a quarterback since Cam Newton. But guess what? We also don't have a head freaking coach. And we on that one too. We are on the chase, folks. Jim Caldwell's been interviewed. Ben Johnson potentially backing out. Steve Wilkes in the waiting. And Sean Payton is the sexy, sexy name on the list.
Nothing. My bad.
CK in the house. Don't worry, Cody. It's just a little clip in. But that's it. CK, boy, there is the coaching carousel continues. And to make it even more complicated, now there's a bunch of potential veteran, or as in Cody Lack says, geriatric coaches on the move. Franchise quarterbacks, old school quarterbacks on the move.
Right.
There are a lot of teams right now that need coaches, that need quarterbacks. And have you seen how many offensive coordinators have gotten fired?
A lot.
A
lot. And, listen, here's the thing. The biggest thing we've got to worry about right now is coach. But it is absolutely impossible not to talk about the different possibilities at QB this offseason, just simply for the fact that we are so needy for a QB. And a lot of this is going to be figured out by whoever the new coach is going to be. If we get a new coach and it happens to be Sean Payton, tell you what, boys and girls, Sam Darnold isn't the guy. Sorry to tell you, he will not be the guy that Sean Payton decides to try to revive. But I will tell you this as much, because I think it's important that we do touch base on these coaches. I think a lot of people are getting a little bit ahead of themselves in the optimism regarding getting Sean Payton. You've got to think that we are probably at the bottom of the list that New Orleans wants to trade this guy to. So that asking price of mid to late round is probably going to be a little higher for the Panthers if we wanted to have a shot at getting him as a coach for the Panthers.
Yeah. Sean Payton's still the sexy name with the pursed lips that he always has. But it was Jim Harbaugh, and the Jim Harbaugh news is gone and nil and none, and actually turned out to be may have been there in the first place. But as you go around and you look at these coaches that are on the list, there's a lot of hot new names, but Sean Payton is the name, the proven name. That's like getting if we're a producer or a director of a movie and we're trying to get the next new star or something in here, or we believe we have somebody that has the charisma to be the next Sharon Stone, to be whatever you want to be, whoever that sex type icon is, or the action hero guy is. At this point, though, those names are still unknown. Sean Payton's let's just sign Sylvester Stallone and make this movie, or let's just get Liam Neeson and do Taken on a Mountain. All right. And we can do it. It's we did Taken in New Orleans, and now we'll do Taken in North Carolina. Maybe we do Bounty in New Orleans and you do Bounty in North Carolina, starring Sean Payton, for all I know. But we've got that to talk about. We've got the NFL playoffs, Lamar Jackson in the house potentially. Oh my gosh. Greg, the Bat Daddy, the Stat Daddy, is back in the house. How are you doing, my friend?
I'm doing fantastic, man. And Tony, I got to tell you, if you're talking about Sean Payton being a sexy pick, then you and I have a different definition of sexy. Because when I look at Sean Payton coming to Carolina, that is not what I'm looking for in the future.
Not feeling it, huh?
Not saying that he's not a good coach, but that's not my cup of tea right there. Like I'm not feeling the Sean Payton thing. What we've got to give up to get him, what the guy is, like that's just not my guy. So,
all right. You've heard it, folks. Show over. No, the number's 252-228-5098. That's 252-228-5098. We want to get your thoughts on the Panthers head coaching search, some of the names that are kind of budding or at least blossoming at this moment, and those that are falling to the wayside, or at least seemingly farther out of the Panthers' reach. And then the NFL playoffs were there. Tom Brady's out of the NFC South, baby. I bet you he's gone. So we want to get your thoughts. The number's 252-228-5098. Smash that thumbs up button. Subscribe to the C3 Panthers podcast, the longest running Panthers podcast around. And this is what y'all really want y'all to do, is message Torrey Smith and tell him to come on the C3 Panthers podcast and talk about Jim Caldwell as a coach. I messaged him today because I went back in my research of Jim Caldwell as a coach. He was the offensive coordinator of the Super Bowl winning Baltimore Ravens. And a crazy story at this guy was appointed the offensive coordinator as they went into the playoffs. They fired their offensive coordinator like in week 15 or 16 of that season. And then they said, hey, Caldwell, we're going to the playoffs. We need you to do something here. Quarterbacks coach. And those guys freaking won the Super Bowl that year. Let's message Torrey Smith. We need him. And I also saw Jermaine Carter Jr. Guys, C3 Nation fans, get together. Let's get these guests They need to know about us, and let's tell them about us, Cody.
Yeah.
Let's get in this freaking show.
Before we hop into that, can I comment on one thing in the chat room with people talking about me being crazy about not liking Sean Payton? Hey, everybody out there who loves Sean Payton. Imagine him without Drew Brees. Go.
Oh no, we got that queued
Imagine
up,
him
bro.
without Drew Brees.
Oh,
Go.
bro,
Do you think he's the same guy he is? Thank you.
Cody's already all over it.
I'm just saying. That's all I'm saying. Imagine him without Drew Brees. Go.
Let's get into the show, Cody.
Listen, the talk of the town is obviously the one and only Sean Payton. And there has been a lot of rumors surrounding Sean. And it was also reported that he is indeed going to interview with the Carolina Panthers. Roman Harper. What show does Roman go on, you said, Tony?
He goes on the Kyle Bailey show on WFNZ, and the Sports Nut sent us this. Did not have an opportunity to grab the audio, but Roman Harper adamantly believed that Payton was not a real option. And what's happened? The Sports Nut's telling us that maybe Roman Harper is seeing things differently.
Yeah, apparently Roman Harper, he was on the radio and he gave a pretty interesting opinion. He said he didn't think that the Carolina Panthers would have a shot at, actually pulling off a trade for Sean Payton until yesterday. He thinks that it would be possible with a 4th round pick this year and a 2024 first round pick. So that's kind of interesting. I wanted to kind of frame it in that kind of light, right? We've typically been thinking that if we're going to get Sean Payton, we're going to have to give up this year's first round. But would you give up a first round pick next year, potentially still draft your quarterback of choice if that's what they're going to do, and then you get Sean Payton as a package? This is a very appealing to a lot of people. And Greg, I'm not going to lie to you, brother. I'm one of them. I'm going to separate my fandom and my hatred for the New Orleans Saints and what they have done to us forever in favor of an offensive-minded head coach that has a track record, not only in the playoffs, but in the Super Bowl as well. Now, I hear you talking about Drew Brees. If it doesn't have Drew Brees, he's not the same player. But keep in mind that when the Saints traded for Drew Brees from the Chargers, he wasn't the Drew Brees that we know him to be today. Nobody really knew what they had him, and they went on to break records. So,
He was young Justin Herbert. Yeah.
I imagine, so everybody knows I'm a Matt Corral fan. Could Sean Payton be the type of guy to get the most out of a Matt Corral? Or hell, if it's a quarterback that you draft or whoever, I would not hate that in the slightest.
The only question you have to ask yourself there is, was Drew Brees a product of Sean Payton, or is Drew Brees just a great quarterback?
Why couldn't they be symbiotic? Why couldn't they just be? Why does it have to be either or? Could it be symbiotic?
It could be symbiotic, but all I'm saying is, if Drew Brees is great because Sean Payton made him great, then yes, of course Sean Payton.
What if they just achieve greatness together?
You're right, they can. I don't know. I guess I don't know the argument. I mean, it's tough to say. I just don't feel like I've seen him with anybody other than a Hall of Fame quarterback. It's hard. It's like McCarthy. It's hard to judge McCarthy. He's had Aaron Rodgers his whole career, like a Hall of Fame quarterback. How do you judge how good he really is?
Well, you could say that about Bill Belichick. Then
you're right. You can.
Right.
Look
is
what
that you can say that, but we
exactly.
don't. I think this is that Sean Payton Sean Payton showed he could make the playoffs without what's his name? Didn't he make it with fucking whatever Cody's guy that went to be Tana? What's his name? The guy that runs. He's a tight end, running back, quarterback. Taysom Hill. They made it to the playoffs. No, this is first of all, the Saints were a dumpster fire. And Breeze was a pretty
20
good
years ago, the
quarterback.
Saints were a dumpster fire.
No,
For
and
the
Breeze
last
was a
15
pretty
years, they've been relevant.
good quarterback. He had gotten let go by the Chargers. He had the Dolphins were interested in him. They ended up passing on him because of concerns with the shoulder injury he had when he was with San Diego, and they went with somebody like Dante Culpepper or something. That was, who did they go with? Somebody in the chat will tell us. But both of these guys came in together and grew. So I don't think it's a guy who made one or the other. I think that you found a dynamic offense,
Right.
because you had a quarterback, by the way, who was not exceptional. The exceptionality about Drew Brees was his poise, was his ability to be a gamer and stuff like that. It's not like he had the bazooka. I mean, he had a good arm. He wasn't, it was like this, is he just did everything very well. It's not like, but he was not a phenom, that a guy that,
right.
So he played above.
He's the first Hall of Famer. I mean,
but he played.
No, but the point that Tony's
making,
is that if you look at Drew Brees in comparison with like a Justin Herbert of today or a Josh Allen, he's not that kind of physical prospect. Yet he was able to get the most out of a player like Drew Brees, who, while he had elite processing, didn't have a ton of other elite tendencies. So the fact that he was able to build an offense that was perfectly suited for Drew Brees to put him in the best position to be successful, I think that speaks a lot about.
And he's proven.
Yeah,
he's 100% proven.
Hold on. Let me ask you a question. We say that Sean Payton is proven. He was the coach for the Saints for over a decade, and for well over a decade. And it wasn't until after our 2015 season that he even won back-to-back titles in the NFC South. All right. Number one.
They won a Super Bowl. They won a Super Bowl before that.
It's not what I said. It's not what I said. I'm saying that they didn't back-to-back titles. I'm talking about consistency.
Forget the Super Bowl. Just let's talk about the back-to-back.
No. Listen, I'm going to talk about the Super Bowl. He won a Super Bowl in 2009. What has he done as the head coach for the Saints with one of the most iconic QBs in the entire history of the NFL? What has he done?
Get him.
That makes you think that he's worth the first.
We are
round.
looking at the chat, David Barnes. Look, we're putting it all up on the fucking screen. No offense. I'm sorry. I get mad.
I'll put it on the screen. I'm looking at it right now.
We are looking at the chat. On top of this is, I'll tell you what he did, CK, is the Saints may not have won the division back-to-back, but they were in the playoffs a lot. And I think they were back-to-back in playoffs. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I think they were just, and then you look at what those teams also did, a couple of things is the one is the miracle one where that thing is like, that was really just, they're going to the freaking NFC championship if the refs don't blow a fucking call there. So it's not like you can't really hold
but here's
entirely
my
that against
That's
him.
not what I'm
just
asking.
saying okay.
My entire question is about, let's look at the entire body of work, the consistency that he's made, right? We want to talk about the Cowboys are garbage because they'll get to the playoffs and won't win, right? McCarthy won't win. This is another thing we're going to have to talk about, right? McCarthy is a horrible coach because every time he gets to the playoffs, he chokes. Well, guess what? Green Bay, Aaron Rodgers in Green Bay, they've done the exact same thing. And everybody's crowning Aaron Rodgers as the greatest thing on the face of the planet. But at the same time, when you look at the body of work, they aren't doing anything. The Saints have gone to the Super Bowl. It is. How many times is it?
I'm with CK.
Hold on.
It is true.
No, let's talk about something.
Then let me go.
How many times has the Saints with Sean Payton gone to the Super Bowl?
But no, that's not the bar to measure it by. No, that's not the bar to measure it by.
What's the goal?
Nobody's good in the NFL. Then nobody's good.
Not only have the Saints been dominating the division for the past 4 years in the NFC South, but you're literally not understanding that you can make the same argument about a bunch of really good coaches in the NFL right now. I could say the same thing about Mike Tomlin. When's the last time that When's the last time that Mike Tomlin won a Super Bowl?
That
On
you know what,
top of
Cody? That actually argues more to our point that more coaches are like Sean Payton. He's not.
The other
unique.
thing that you're not mentioning is that look, there was a few years when the Saints went 7-9, like 3 years in a row, and yes, they had really bad defenses. But if we're talking about modernizing the Carolina Panthers offense, even in those 7-9 seasons, they had some of the most prolific passing offenses in the NFL. So if you're talking about a proven offensive play caller, and that's another thing to mention, Sean Payton would be calling plays. If you're going to talk about him as a play caller and as a coach, you can't just say that because he did Super Bowl every year, that all of a sudden that means that he's overrated. He's always in the playoffs.
That's not what I'm saying.
You can't give him 100% of that credit for those play calls. You can call the play all you want to. If
it doesn't have to be an either or thing, Greg. You're trying to make us go overboard on this. Here, let's just look at what the.
He is.
He is.
Listen, he has proven. Listen, he has proven that he was able to make it to the playoffs, right? Like that's.
Let's look at his
proven.
record. Look, he has been there since 2006.
Been where?
New Orleans.
The Saints. He was with the Saints from 2006 to 2021.
Right.
Listen to this. They went 10-6 his first year. They went 7-9, 8-8, 13-3, 11-5, 13-3, 7-9, 11-5. Then they had this 3-year stretch right here of 7-9. And then he wins 11, 13, 13, 12. Dude.
Drew Brees.
Yeah. Hey, real quick,
Drew Brees
D'Angelo,
was kind of toast by this. By 2020, 2019, Drew Brees was
and they still made the playoffs.
Drew Brees was cooked by 2019.
How about this?
Let me ask you, how many coaches in their lifetime get to coach a first ballot Hall of Fame quarterback?
Well, give us this. Who do you want me to compare him to?
What do you mean compare?
Well, I'm not asking you to
I'll give you this.
All I'm asking you is look at it realistically.
No, I'm saying that he's a good coach. A guy.
That he's a good coach, but he also had a shit ton of help. He had one of the best quarterbacks who ever played the game. It does matter.
Well, we don't want him catching the bad news fucking Bears, dude.
Aren't you trying to?
So that's the only thing that would make it better
with the franchise quarterback.
But what I'm saying is, do you think that Matt Corral is on the same level as Drew Brees? I'm not saying he's not because I don't know.
He ain't gonna be the quarterback. Man, if we get Sean Payton, you're gonna get like Lamar. It's gonna be Sean Payton and Lamar.
Look, he had James Winston and threw for 5,000 yards and 35 interceptions and touchdowns.
Let me just read this super chat real quick. It says, "Remember, Drew was almost a bust in San Diego. That's why they drafted Phillip Rivers." Shout out to D'Angelo with the $5. Listen, Greg, I'm not picking up that argument because I don't think you can blame an organization for being in possession of a Hall of Fame quarterback. Sure. Everybody wants. And he
wasn't a Hall of Fame quarterback until what year? Think about this. It's like you're not gonna. You call him a Hall of Fame quarterback. No, but look, is you guys are acting like Drew Brees is a first ballot Hall of Famer.
He is.
What?
Hands down.
All right. So what year did he make it to all right, let's look at his stats. I want to say this. At
guys,
what
we don't
point?
even have to devalue either of them. They are both first ballot Hall of Famers.
I think you're almost making Drew Brees better than he
Look at his all-time record, and he is
the man.
Let's see.
He is
one. I'm saying, at what point did he become a first ballot ball of Famer?
Let's go through it.
Hall of Famer. What I'm trying to say is this: I think that we are having some disconnect of the way we view the past. And I understand. I agree. Drew Brees, first ballot Hall of Famer. Agree. Okay. But was he that in 2012? Was he that like at what year? So 6 years he became a Hall of Famer.
He won the Super Bowl, became a Super Bowl MVP. That's when
and he's a Hall of Famer?
That's when you start that argument.
That's when you start the argument. But look, this is where I start the argument. Look, he has 1, 2, 3, 4,
when they won the Super
5,
Bowl.
6
3 years.
6 offensive player of the years, 1, 2, 3, 4 MVPs.
But
and
when
1
did
Super
was
Bowl.
his?
That
I
is the first
understand.
ballot Hall of Famer.
I'm not discounting that. What I'm saying is this: is you're
How about
trying
this?
to say that Sean Payton's career is so determined by Drew Brees. What I'm saying is this: is that Drew Brees and him were together in 2006, right? So they went 10-6, 7, 9, 8. All right. So Drew Brees he threw 4,000 yards and 26 touchdowns his first year. Then he threw 44, 5,000. Right. What I'm saying is he if he retired after 2013, is he a first ballot Hall of Famer?
Probably not first ballot, but he's a Hall of Famer.
So what I'm trying to say is this: is I don't think if that's the case, you can't just say, "Oh, Drew Brees made him," because the longevity of them together is what made them.
True.
It's because they rocked together.
But the part you've got to like, here's the argument. You can argue. I'm not one that's going to argue that he had Drew Brees, right? He had Drew Brees. I'm not going to use that as a reason to say he's a bad coach, right? But you've also got to take into consideration when we talk about when people want to, and I know these aren't the same, but when people want to talk about Frank Reich, everybody's like, oh, that would be a good offensive coordinator. That'd be a good head coach, right? All of these things. Well, guess what? His best years were with Hall of Fame quarterbacks, potential Hall of Fame quarterbacks, like Andrew Luck if he had stayed in the league, and Phillip Rivers. Those are two Hall of Fame quarterbacks.
Best years didn't even sniff Sean Payton's best years.
Hold on. But what my point is that that's a detractor for people for Frank Reich, right? That's a detractor for him. So why can't it be a detractor for Sean Payton when you see when you look at his he has a Hall of Fame quarterback. It's not regardless of whether or not he was a Hall of Fame quarterback before Sean Payton got him. He has a Hall of Fame quarterback who is putting up numbers that are ungodly, completion percentages that are ridiculous, even throwing 5,500 yards. He's got some of the NFL all-time records, right? And he's only gotten to the Super Bowl one time with a Hall of Fame quarterback. That's
just the nature of football.
Dan Marino never won a Super Bowl. I'm with Tony. I'm with Tony 1,000%. And by the way, I also don't feel, CK, that you're giving him enough credit. Like, how do we know? Like, okay, I know this is a whole lot of what ifs, but if we're doing the what if game, let's do it. If we're going to give Drew Brees that much credit, you have to give some to Sean Payton for being the orchestrator of that offense that he was in. I don't know. I do not know. I do not know if you put Drew Brees with any other offensive coordinator that he would have been able to reach the same heights that he did with Sean Payton. And I think that's a fair discussion. But if you say that he would, then I can say that he wouldn't be, because we'll have no way of knowing.
But you're saying what we're talking about right now is we're talking about he is this number one. You're putting him in the category of where we're willing to give away a 4th round pick next year. 4th round this year. So not only are we talking about that,
no, I think the offer is this. I think you guys are misreading it. I think you think that's just 2 4ths.
But that was what Roman
it's a first. It's a
one. No. Go back round. One. Go back the other one. I think when the first slide, I think this is when he says with a 4th and a 24.
He means the first. I think he means the
first. So it's a 4th round this year.
100% is what he means.
First next year. Okay,
that's what I'm saying.
One first round pick.
Look, exactly, but you're giving it away for a guy who's been to 1 Super Bowl.
All right, how about
over 15 years ago?
Almost. Go ahead.
I just want to make one point as to how much Drew Brees means to Peyton or to Sean Payton. Okay, in the worst years that New Orleans had of Sean Payton and Drew Brees, 8-8, Drew Brees 5,069 yards, 34 touchdowns. 7-9, 5,177 yards, 43 touchdowns. 7-9, 4,950 yards, 33 touchdowns. 7-8, 48-70, 32 touchdowns. There has never been a moment where Drew Brees has not been a top 3 or 4 quarterback that he has been playing.
Name a successful coach.
Name a successful
coach
who
hasn't had a quarterback.
Falls onto the coach for the rest of it. Drew Brees put the numbers up.
Name a single coach who has been successful with a bad quarterback.
Not one.
And I think the closest you can actually, I do think there might be one, and he might be in the playoffs right now.
for
No,
the
all
Giants.
these guys are good.
San
Even if you don't
Francisco.
like 'em.
Shanahan has
yeah,
been
that's right,
to
yeah.
the Super Bowl with Matt Ryan, Matt Ryan's pretty good, but he is not Drew Brees level,
The
right?
quarterbacks aren't bad. No,
He
Tony, you're still
made
not
Rod.
wrong.
No, I
'Cause those
think that
quarterbacks aren't
I'm
bad.
just saying this is I think that Shanahan is the only one that potentially has had multiple years of high level success. Think of this, Andy Reid. Is Andy Reid the best coach in the NFL? Yes. Like, I mean, and we can quibble. You can
People
say,
didn't
no,
think
it's
that
this guy.
about him
He's
at
up
one
there.
point in time.
He's in consideration.
But you could
for
also
sure.
say this is that the
Yeah.
reason we say he's a best coach ever
Because
is
he has
because
Mahomes.
and McNabb. He fucking slayed with McNabb. They went to 3 NFC championships.
And
yeah,
never
they
won
never
a
got
Super
the
Bowl.
Super
I
Bowl.
get that, but
Right.
my
And he was
point,
still a good
is,
player that whole time.
My point is the quarter the
Name
coach,
name a coach though
coach
that
was
has
just
been
like-
successful without great players.
I
Tell
get
me
that.
a
You're right.
quarterback
You're right.
that I mean
You
a
have to have a
coach who has made a good team out of who has made chicken shit out of chicken salad. You know what? You might say Ron Rivera.
Steve Wilkes did it this year. But anyway,
Yeah, but
you're right. No, you're right. You need a
not
good
even
quarterback. You need a good
sniffing.
quarterback. My point is, Tony, in the years where he wasn't successful with his record, his quarterback was a top 3 quarterback in the NFL.
He
by
deserves
stats.
credit for that.
So
He deserves credit for that.
Maybe he
Yeah,
deserves
get
credit
him,
for that.
Cody.
But if you can't win with a top 3 quarterback in the NFL, and throughout the years he's been there, what's been known as the
But
best
he
defense
did.
in
Guess
the
what?
NFC
Dan
South,
Marino,
then,
Dan
okay,
Marino
what do you
Blake
say
never
about
won a
Bortles
Super
was a
Bowl.
top. Blake
Dan
Bortles
Marino
was a top 3 quarterback.
Dan
We gotta
Marino
move.
was one
Let's
of the
move to the
best
next.
quarterbacks. Well, look, Dan Marino was one of the best quarterbacks of all
and he went
time
undefeated.
and
Never
never
won a
won a
Super
Super
Bowl.
Bowl.
The guy never go
So
undefeated.
just
So-
Actually, you
because
could
they're
say
not
the
winning
best
a-
quarterback. Arguably, he really is the best until Muggs started piling up
Right,
these
just
Super
because
Bowl
they didn't
rings.
win a Super Bowl every year doesn't automatically mean that that coach isn't enough. But Tony's right. Let's move on. How about this?
I want to ask this before this one right here about the CMC. How about this? As you guys are talking about, we can quibble over how if you want Sean Payton or not. Let's just quibble about this. The exact picks. Would you basically have traded CMC for Sean Payton? We traded Christian McCaffrey to the 49ers. We got a 2023 second, a 2023 third, a 2023 fourth, and a 2024 fifth. If the Saints were willing to take this deal right here, would you do it straight up?
Hell yeah.
Yeah,
Dude,
me too.
in a
No.
a fucking heartbeat. When you have a coach like that,
I agree.
when you have a coach like that, that opens up what you're able to do as a football team.
No.
I mean,
No.
honestly,
Where's
I'm
my
not
buzzer?
saying
You know what I see this
not-
is like, would you trade Tommy Tremble? Like, think about what our second round pick. Would you trade Terrace Marshall Jr., Tommy Tremble, and like, you know what I'm saying? These bums for Sean Payton. Yes.
Nope.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No.
You guys are crazy.
This is what
dude.
you're
I know.
thinking. You're right.
How are
because
Cody
you know,
and I actually agreeing?
you know Tommy Tremble the way he is now. But let me ask you this. Do
Oh,
you
God.
really want to
I'm
give
trembling.
in division rival Christian McCaffrey, the running back they have now, what's his name?
Kamara.
The one who's compared to Chris McCaffrey, not as good.
Alvin Kamara.
Alvin Kamara and Taysom Hill to get a coach
Here's
who can tell the players
Yeah, I
to
ain't
play
scared of
better
none of them
and make them
bitches.
follow him, but not make them execute in the end. Because in the
Oversimplifying
end,
that
it's the
so
players to
badly.
execute. Would you
You-
really trade those 3 players to that team for a coach to coach Sam Darnold?
Drastically
and
underestimating
Walker.
what a coach does.
What we
We
got?
got to talk about my son's comment. This actually, I do think this is the red flag. If there's a red flag, first, I will not put any of the financial shit on Peyton because that's just all the voodoo magic of the Saints and all that. They were doing that the whole time. They were all in collusion there. But there is a question. This is why the fuck is he? Why did he just leave the Saints entirely?
because he didn't have a Hall of Fame quarterback like Drew Brees. Period.
That's
it's super easy.
That's
like,
a good that man.
And I guarantee you he won't go to a team unless they have a stacked lineup and a Hall of Fame quarterback with them. And that right there proves it.
Come on, he couldn't
win,
had success with New Orleans.
You can't handle the truth.
Why is it outside the realm of possibility that maybe Peyton already won a Super Bowl there? Drew Brees retired, and now he wanted to go and do some other shit, like with another team. I don't blame him for that,
because it was the year after he lost Drew Brees for the most part. 1 year after. You're talking about it had been 14 years, almost 12 years when he left, that he had been to a Super Bowl with the Saints. 12 years, and now he lost his best and most impressive. Like, when he left, that offense, that entire team looked absolutely abysmal. You looked abysmal. And here's the thing, and that was with guys that he chose to be on his roster, right? And so here's the reality you've got to think about. We can't continue to this is why I'm talking about, like, do you want to give your division rival? You can't. Not only do you have to decide whether or not Sean Payton's worth a first-round pick, giving away a first-round pick, now you have to decide, is it worth giving away a first-round pick to a division rival who's that first-round pick is going to go against you for the next 4 or 5 years and potentially be a cornerstone for their offense or their defense or whatever it may be. You are putting yourself in a most unknown situation. I am not prepared to give away assets for a guy who's not been to a Super Bowl in over a decade.
Okay. I hear you. D'Angelo the Legend with the $5 says, thank God Greg and CK don't make decisions for our team. But you know what? They say that about me too. They said that about Tony. I think they say that about everyone who has an opinion about the Panthers. The thing is this, though. Hang on. Shout out to Eric37 with another $5 love bomb. He says, if this was Belichick, would your opinions be the same?
No, they wouldn't be. Or actually, no, I'm
not
sorry.
At all.
My opinion would be the same, because you know what? Belichick shows that without Tom Brady, he's not the elite coach. That
so then, was. Greg,
no,
what?
He's only made by an elite quarterback.
Then, Greg,
that's the wrong argument.
What coach would ever be worth it? Like, it goes back to what Tony was saying. If you have a franchise, if you have a nice quarterback, one, you cannot discredit the guy that's calling the plays for said quarterback, just like you can't discredit Andy Reid for being the orchestrator of that offense with Patrick Mahomes. By the way, never won a Super Bowl without Patrick Mahomes, and everybody doubted Andy Reid once upon a time too.
Right. So here's my thought. Here's my entire point to my statement. Greg's argument, I don't mean to be, is not a good argument to make, because here's the thing. What Bill Belichick has proven is, with a Hall of Fame quarterback, you can go to multiple Super Bowls and win multiple Super Bowls and be a good coach, and that's going to be impactful to you. Okay? So that's what I'm saying. You have a Hall of Fame Super Bowl or Hall of Fame quarterback with Drew Brees. You have a Hall of Fame quarterback with Tom Brady. One coach went to Super Bowls how many times? The other coach went to Super Bowls how many times? It's such an incredible difference, and it's not even that much of a difference as far as time.
You can argue that no one has ever done what the Patriots have done to the level that they have done. Though.
Let's talk about
this.
Andy Reid with Pat Mahomes in a shorter amount of time with Pat Mahomes. How many times has Andy Reid been to the Super Bowl since Pat Mahomes been on his roster?
Gosh, I'm so on CK's side tonight. CK, me and you, buddy.
But he's only won one of them. That's the same thing you said about Sean Payton. Payton only won one of them, just like Andy Reid.
He's only been to one. He's only been to one Super Bowl. I'm saying they've been to 2 Super Bowls in a short career with Patrick Mahomes. That's my.
How many did he go to with Philadelphia? He only went to one with Philadelphia when he.
That's not my. What was this Hall of Fame quarterback there?
Well, McNabb, good quarterback. Donovan McNabb.
Is he in the Hall of Fame now?
Is McNabb a Hall
of Fame?
You know what?
He was a baller back then. Don't let anybody.
He was okay.
He was okay.
He was.
Is he Hall of Fame? Cam Newton's a baller. Is he Hall of Fame?
Let's move. We got to move.
Yeah.
So this.
Since we're gonna keep arguing about the same fucking thing right here, let's go.
Yeah, I mean, look. So this has been a topic of conversation on Twitter. Everybody's been talking about this. Been comparing Sean Payton to Mike McCarthy because they have very similar resumes. Mike McCarthy, when he was with the Packers, they went to the Super Bowl with Aaron Rodgers and they won one. And a lot of people say, well, McCarthy was only good because he had Aaron Rodgers. Pretty much everything that Greg K have just said about Sean Payton is also true for Mike McCarthy, who is in the playoffs right now to beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So
didn't rough team yet. So
my question is, who would you prefer? Do you believe that this is a good comparison between these two? I'm going to say no, because Mike McCarthy doesn't, at least to my knowledge, doesn't call plays. And Aaron Rodgers was trying to get the fuck away from Mike McCarthy. He didn't want Mike McCarthy to be a coach
used
anymore.
to play call plays in Green Bay.
Right, but then he stopped, and because his play calling was so terrible. That never happened, dude. With Sean Payton, I guarantee you, Drew Brees was never looking to get away from Sean Payton.
Look, I was just kind of downing Sean Payton, and I don't want to say downing Sean Payton, but not so much. I really just didn't want him as my guy. I'm not saying he's a bad guy, but I will take Sean Payton.
Well, I would have taken
1,000 times over before I get McCarthy. McCarthy is 100% the product of the teams he has. He inherited Dallas, who was the exact same team last year they are this year that he took over for. He inherited that team. He inherited Aaron Rodgers and only won one Super Bowl with one of the greatest quarterbacks to ever play the game. So,
you know
I
what?
would take
Fire both of these bums. Only one Super Bowl. Fire both of these bums.
I'm with you, Tony. It's so. I think that CK and Greg are underestimating how hard it is to win in the NFL. And
how many Super Bowls does Tony Dungy
even if you have a franchise quarterback and a head coach that can do all the right things, it never is a guarantee that you're going to be able to go back and win the Super Bowl.
Right.
How many Super Bowls does Peyton Manning have? Peyton Manning was
three, I think, right?
Oh, well, two. One with the Colts and one with the Broncos.
He had been to two, I think, or
and
maybe
I
three.
Promise you better not count that. If you ever come on this podcast again and count that Denver Super Bowl for him, you'll be kicked off, CK.
No, I'm not counting that. I mean, he did win. I mean,
remember
he won a Super
who
Bowl,
they beat?
I'll trust me. I understand. I understand why you're saying
we ain't
that.
ever talking about that again.
I understand.
But what
why
I'm saying is this: is Peyton Manning won one Super Bowl.
He won two.
And I will.
He's been to how many though?
He actually won.
How many times has he been?
That's what I'm saying.
Altogether?
But I would say Peyton Manning. I know Peyton Manning was head and shoulders a better quarterback than Drew Brees.
I don't know if you could say head and shoulders.
Oh yeah, significantly better.
Peyton
Record would indicate
Drew
otherwise.
Brees, Tom Brady, and Aaron Rodgers are the best four quarterbacks of the last 20 years, hands down.
Okay.
Period. No question.
All right. I wanted to look. All I got. I don't give a fuck. I'm sorry. I didn't mean it like that. I was talking about. I don't give a fuck about Mike McCarthy.
Right.
This guy there's not even the same spectrum, right? Is Mike McCarthy, and just because Dallas beat Tampa Bay last night or whatever, let's not act like he's there yet.
No, he's not.
Right. Is that if he would have lost, actually the funny part about this, if Dallas would have lost last night, guess who would be the coach of the Dallas Cowboys next year?
Sean Payton.
Yes.
Fucking
he might still be. Honestly, he might still be. Does anybody truly believe that Mike McCarthy is the architect of success there? No, not at all. He's just 2023 wasn't a good year for the Carolina Panthers, but I'm trying to make 2024 a better one for myself. Get started on your resolutions with Factor so you're ready for the new year. Factor's ready-to-eat meal delivery takes the stress out of meal planning and sets you up for success in the new year. Skip the grocery stores, prep work, and cooking fatigue. Instead, get chef-crafted, dietitian-approved meals delivered right to your door. With over 35 meals to choose from per week, including keto options, calorie smart, vegan plus veggie, and more, plus over 55 weekly add-ons. You'll have a ton of nutritious and flavorful options to kickstart your resolutions. Skip that overpriced takeout trap. Factor is cheaper and way more delicious than takeout. Get chef-crafted, restaurant-quality meals delivered right to your door, and they're ready to heat and eat in just 2 minutes, which means more time for you. Head to factormeals.com/C350 and use the promo code C350 to get 50% off. That's code C350 at factormeals.com/C350 to get 50% off.
Breast milk science. It's a thing, and it's our thing. We're By Heart. Our mission is simple: make the best infant formula in the world. We partnered with breast milk scientists, world-class doctors, and passionate parents to write a new recipe from scratch. Our patented protein blend includes 2 of the most abundant proteins in breast milk at levels closer to the real thing. We're also the first U.S.-made infant formula to use organic grass-fed whole milk, not skim. And we ran the largest clinical trial by a new infant formula company in 25 years, proving benefits like less spit up, softer poops, and easier digestion versus a leading infant formula. And while we've put a lot into By Heart, there's a long list of things you won't see on our ingredient list, like corn syrup, soy, or palm oil. Curious if By Heart is right for your baby? New customers can shop the starter pack and get 2 cans for the price of 1 at byheart.com/get started. That's 1 free can at byhert.com/get started. This is a limited time offer. Additional terms and conditions apply. Try it risk-free. That's the By Heart promise. Just because breastfeeding is natural doesn't mean it's easy. But you don't have to do it alone. That's where the Lactation Network comes in. The Lactation Network helps parents at every stage of the breastfeeding journey. Whether you need support resolving feeding issues, choosing the right breast pump, creating a plan for weaning, or anything in between. The Lactation Network is the largest network of licensed breastfeeding experts in the country. They provide in-home, in-office, and telehealth consultations in all 50 states with no out-of-pocket cost. Get the breastfeeding care you deserve with the Lactation Network. Visit tln.care/podcast to schedule your own insurance-covered lactation consultation today.
But you know what? At the same time, we probably shouldn't diss on him too much because he has been a successful head coach. That's what the thing is. But Sean Payton might be the coach of the Dallas Cowboys next year. Arguably, he might be the fucking coach of the Los Angeles Chargers. He can be the coach of anybody, bro.
Hey, how
there's a
ironic would that
reason
be
why
if-
he's such a hot name right now. Everybody wants to interview him.
If you don't think that it's going to cost more for the Panthers to get him, that's where you guys need to take into consideration
More than who?
More than anybody else
than
that's
anybody
on the
else.
block for him right
Well,
now.
you know what? Are you just not willing to pay it?
I'm not
Is
willing
that
to
what
pay.
it
I'm
is?
not willing to pay. I'm not willing to give away a first-round draft pick for a guy that hasn't proven that he's able to do anything without a
How many
quarterback.
years did the Saints give away a first-round draft pick and actually be successful? A lot.
Look,
how many you got? How many you got? I got a lot. The Saints give away first-round picks, no problem. They were winning all those times.
My question is, when's the last time they gave away a first-round pick?
A lot.
When's the last time they did it?
Who? Marcus Davenport.
Okay, what do you think about Marcus Davenport? Do you think he was worth 2 first-round picks?
Well, it was only 1 first.
No, they gave they gave up 2 first rounds for him.
They went to like the playoffs or something like crazy the next year, and he was very good. But yeah, if you have a winning season that year, then who gives a fuck?
Look,
hey, a couple super chats.
Yeah, and then we got to move on. We're going.
White Chocolate Espresso
Wow,
says Reed only 3 losing seasons, better than Peyton. With the 199.
Okay.
Nick Montero with the $10 love bomb. He says, "Is it just me, or does it seem like the season won't feel like it's actually over until we know the fate of Steve Wilkes?" and Manning is only a forehead better than Drew Brees.
Oh, well done.
I
Well
see
done,
what
Nick.
you did there. Oh,
Well
shit.
done. Well
And then
done.
White Chocolate Espresso says, which coach quits when it gets hard? Nobody's
Saban.
quitting when it gets
Nick
hard.
Saban.
Sean
dude.
Payton and the boy from the Rams.
Nick Saban. Nick Saban quit when it got hard in Miami.
Yeah.
There's been
he was
a
from the
lot of
Rams,
these
too.
fuckers that
Yeah.
do that. They, and
Mhm.
and I understand that is something to be said about like the longevity of something, but like, and we'll get to this later when we get to some of the potential young quarterbacks moving on. But you got to think about the context of their careers too. They only have so much time, right? So maybe Sean Payton saying this is like, I only have so much time, so fuck it. Why do I want to do it with a team that we are
That he
not
built?
poised? No, you can't say built because he was
He
not
did.
the only person involved. Their GM
But you would
was
give him
very
credit if they were
powerful.
successful.
What
Wouldn't
I'm
you?
saying is, but they sold their soul. Like, you know what? I would sell
he was
my
part of
soul
that.
for a Super Bowl.
They
And
were
you know what?
also a
And-
middle of the pack football
Fine.
team. They weren't even terrible football teams. They were
Then why
middle of
didn't
the
Tom
pack.
Brady stay in
They
the
didn't
Patriots
go
with
to,
the
they
Patriots?
didn't go to the basement.
I
Right,
just
that's true.
want to
That's a
you
great
guys
point.
look, I just want to point out the difference because this is something that I think me and Cody, this is the point we are the furthest on and everything between what's a player's fault and what's a coach's fault. So what I'm going to do for the rest of the show for every 15 minutes is I'm going to raise my hand and I'm going to say, hey, okay, that's going to be my coaching stat for y'all. And I want to see all three of y'all say that, okay? And if by chance y'all miss it, then it's got to be y'all's fault, right? But if I'm reminding you every 15 minutes, there's no way it's my fault, right?
Dumb.
So my point
Yeah,
is,
that's-
we're
I
not
can
doing
tell
this.
you as many times as I want to do this. Ultimately, it's up to you to actually do
But
it.
you can say that about every coach that there is.
You're
Yeah.
right.
They have
you
to
Then they
can.
know
don't
their
matter
players
at
right.
all.
Which is
Put
why
me in,
coaching is not
coach.
the end all
Put
be all. Which
me
is why I
in,
would not
coach.
give up first round picks for a coach who has only been successful with a
See,
Hall
I
of
don't
Fame
like that.
quarterback.
I think
Period.
Cody has. I
Yeah.
think Cody
Alright,
has
dude.
taught me into this a little bit over the past couple of years. Is Cody and his stupid? Let's trade everything for Trevor Lawrence shit, and we'll talk about that
It's
later.
worth it. It's
No.
worth it.
But I
To
do think
trade for
this.
what you have your eyes on.
I have watched enough third and fourth round picks be nobodies and first round picks be nobodies to say, you know what, maybe they're not as important as we actually
A
make
proven
them out to be.
commodity, dude.
Like it's like, oh, well, guess you know what? We got set back with Kelvin Benjamin. We got set back with Vernon Butler. Oh, you're right. We might not have Vernon Butler next year.
Yeah,
No Sean
fucking trade
Payton.
that
Fuck
shit.
that. We don't want a quarterback. We might not have Vernon Butler next year.
Dude, send them the picks and an edible while you're at
hold on.
it, dude.
We gotta go to the cat calls.
You've got to, if you're going to say that, if you're going to bring that up as the last point, you have to also take into consideration if you think that Loomis is the mastermind of the Saints roster.
I didn't say mastermind. I said part of it.
Hold on. They have hit very well on their second and third and fourth round draft picks, like Greg was talking about earlier. So the Vernon Butlers aren't happening on the Saints roster.
Vernon Butler was a first, bro.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. You know who wasn't a first? Marshawn Lattimore. You know who wasn't a first? Alvin Kamara. You know who wasn't a first? Forgot
No,
his name.
Marshawn Lattimore was the
I
first.
can marry you tonight.
Was he?
Marshawn
Was he at the end of
Lattimore-
the? Well, he was
Lattimore
at
was
the end of
the
the.
I don't want to hear this.
Yeah,
either way,
he
he
was
just
the
was
like
late
all
first.
of this. I think there is, and this is where I've actually gotten mad at Cody on this show the last 4 or 5 months this season. Cody has gone to be like, oh, let's win one for the Gipper. Let's try to be about integrity and stuff like this, right? No, like give me a second. But the idea of these players and them being like so important to the development of like this whole future, like, oh, we're building for the future. I think sometimes there is a fine line between we need to build for the future and we're too scared to fucking go up and ask the girl to go on a date. Like it's like I mean, there's a fine line. I
He
understand. Look,
wouldn't
both
like
people
us
have
anyway.
right. Both people have good points. Is like you don't want to be too risky, but sometimes too. You know what Wayne Gretzky said? Every shot taken is a goal not scored. So like you can't win the lottery if you don't play it. And all I'm saying is I don't know if we need to go as far. We don't got to do what Cody said for Trevor Lawrence and say, let's trade the rest of our lives and our soul for it.
2 years.
But sometimes you
ain't
got to
shit.
take a goddamn swing. And I think, and I've been trying to say that I thought this was the case with JC Horn. I know. It's like, yes, you told me he's the greatest motherfucker ever. He is. He's great. He's a fucking all-pro before he's even played 5 games. But at the same time, maybe we're just too scared to take a risk on Justin Fields. Maybe just too scared. And JC Horn was the safer pick. And that's why I'm on Will Levis's joint. But can we get to some cat calls, please? Because this show, it's 9:52. We were supposed to be at these cat calls 40 minutes ago, guys.
No, 6.
You should have known that was never going to be possible.
So what are your thoughts on catcalling?
Yeah, it's pretty. You shouldn't do that to somebody.
And how did that make you feel?
Very uncomfortable.
So how do you think catcalling makes the person feel?
It feels good, like.
Who's that cat sitting in the back corner with his face buried in his nose? Who's that kid that can use one?
Tony.
I got a super chat real quick.
Well, at least Tom Brady is going home a loser. When you have decent corners, you can control that Tampa Bay team relatively easily, unlike our situation. Coaching search is still hot and heavy, but it seems like Wilt's still in it pretty well because they keep asking about looking for OCs and DCs as well. Because apparently Al Holcomb will be the DC if Wilt gets it, which I understand that he's his boy, but I wonder if he can get a better one. I doubt it. We'll have to see, but definitely get an OC. I'm not seeing any other candidates stand up besides the Ben Johnson, the offensive coordinator for the Lions, but his offense didn't even get to the playoffs. I'm sorry. I would only recruit offensive coordinators whose offense got them to the playoffs. I mean, we destroyed that offense with our team. That's my opinion. If my defense beats your offense, are you that good of an OC? I don't know. Maybe that's just me, but I like head-to-head. We'll have to see. But look forward to watching the video today, and we'll go from there. I don't know which team I'm pulling for in the rounds. Probably the Jags and the Cowboys. So we'll see. Take care, guys, and keep pounding.
Thank you for the call, AU Link. And is AU Link from Down Under? No,
I don't
no.
know.
Who's your boy from?
No, he's the Auburn. He's the Auburn guy.
Somebody said in the chat this, and I like how he said LOL at the point. He said he didn't. He said you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. Is there really? I want to parse out. Let's do a logic, and not right now, and we're not going to do it as in discussion, but you can do it in the chat. What is the logical difference between every shot not taken? If we I took symbolic logic in college, and so you would take this phrase and you would turn it into a math equation. Every shot not taken is a goal not scored. And you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. I'm going to email this to one of my old philosophy professors. They would fucking go nuts and be
what's
like,
the question you're asking? Because I think it's pretty simple.
But they're both the same thing.
They're both the exact same
truly
thing.
the same?
Yeah,
are they
Yeah.
truly logically?
Dude, you don't need a
contingently the
philosophy
same?
major to tell you that.
You're thinking too deep about it. Yeah, I agree with Cody.
There's logical.
It's basically if you don't
every
take a chance,
bachelor
there's no
is
way
an
to win.
unmarried. All right, okay. Look, just go this, kids. Go Google a priori truth. Logical by definition is a priori truth. So that's a big philosophy term. Anyway,
sometimes
I
you have to
understand.
take,
Is there?
and this is what you've been saying too, Tony. Sometimes you have to take a chance, and yeah, you might miss when you take that chance, but you also might score a bucket. You never know. You have to swing big, and I think that's what we're talking about. These draft picks that don't pan out, that just end up being on the team and then done. Is that more valuable than proven commodities? And I think that we have done it one such a long time that we're jaded in the way that we talk about this because we're not used to the Panthers making splashy moves like that. But it's a new era of Panther football. So you should expect it unexpected. So.
All right, let's go to the next call.
Hey, C3, is that you, Link?
Oh.
Well, at least Tom Brady is going home.
No,
a loser.
sorry. That's the same call. Let's go back to the same call, Tony. Here we go. Hopefully.
It's JJ. I'm gonna come on the Friday Fruit Pro with this energy too that I'm about to bring in this call. Cody, Drew, Pickle, C3, y'all's quarterback evaluation skills and word, everything y'all say, revoke. It's meaningless.
He didn't like my level.
I was listening to last year's draft podcast, and I couldn't believe the shit I was hearing. Y'all were slobbering, gagging, deep-throating Malik Willis, begging for us to trade back into the first round for his bum ass. I didn't think any of the quarterbacks last year were worth a first-round pick because I didn't think any of them were good or NFL ready. But yet y'all were slobbering over Malik Willis.
Yeah, well,
and then this year y'all talking about let's upgrade the team and not get a quarterback. I mean, it's really just unbelievable at this point. I mean, I couldn't even believe it. But yet when there's good quarterbacks in the draft class, y'all just want to draft defensive players. It's cool.
I've been wanting to draft
right.
a quarterback every
whatever.
fucking year.
We'll never be out of poverty.
I'm cutting this off, and I'm addressing it. I'm cutting it off, and I'm addressing it. First of all, go back and watch the year before that when I went nuts when we didn't draft Justin Fields, and he was the number 2 prospect, and then he fell there, and we didn't have to trade up. We didn't have to trade anything. I do understand what you're saying, and I do believe. And I get what you're saying is that like there is a pretty girl walks by and bats her eyes at you in the combine. And all of a sudden I'm over there humping her leg, whether it be Malik Willis or Justin Fields or Zach Wilson or Trey Lance. We can go down the list of people to where Cody was like that with Justin Herbert, where, you know what I'm saying? But there are some that you would want to go back and actually hump them. My point being is that you can use the Malik Willis stuff out of context. And I do. And it was not just us. It was also the whole world.
Steelers fans, Detroit Lions fans, everybody was
everybody. Like that, it's revisionist history, dude.
We don't also need to declare him and completely no. Is anybody out there going Pickett was the worst pick ever?
No.
And the thing is Malik Willis just didn't have any opportunity, right? Like you put him in on a short, so it's like if that's what you're going to judge him off of, and not even, they didn't even play him, right? Because they weren't confident in it. So fine, it might have been wrong. But what have I always told you, Cody? You're either in the land of having a quarterback or you live in the land of you don't have a quarterback. And until we are in the land of we are in the kingdom of having a quarterback, then we're always going to want to live in the kingdom that does have a fucking quarterback. And that's why Malik Willis looked good. It was like being on what was that? The movie where they give you hall pass. You ever seen the movie Hall Pass? And the wives go on a girls trip. And she jokes around, says like, you could have a hall pass or whatever. And so they go out the bar and they get tanked. And he's like, oh man, look at that bitch. she fly. And then his friend goes, nope, look at this. And he does the window close.
Yep.
And it's like, well, no wonder. I mean, of course, Malik Willis she was the hottest girl at the fucking party.
And by the way, the same way that we were, the same way that we were slobbering over Malik is the same way that he's slobbering over guys like CJ Stroud and Bryce Young, neither of which were going to be in the range to even draft unless you're trading up for them.
Hot take. Again, I like Will Levis better than both of them.
What's the difference between us, going crazy over Malik and other Panther fans going crazy over a quarterback this year? You want a quarterback. Everybody wants the Panthers to have a franchise quarterback. Who knows where it's going to come from? Different ways that they can come from.
Yeah.
But to pretend like we're not evaluating all the ins and outs of every different player, come on.
No, I don't think that's what he was saying. I agree. I understand what he's saying. Look, because I'm not sensitive enough to be mad.
He said I have terrible quarterback evaluation.
Well, he might not be wrong.
Bullshit.
I do like Matt Corral.
I called Josh Allen.
About it.
I called Justin Herbert.
Oh my God.
I called Trevor Lawrence. Dude, I got
them all those high.
Trevor Lawrence, get that shit out of here. You
can I ask,
do not say Trevina Lawrence's name on this podcast anymore.
Trevor Lawrence. Say
Trevina
right.
sucks, but she sucks the best pick.
And trophy candidates. Come on, man. That's low hanging fruit.
No, I think this is, but I do understand. Look, don't be sensitive about it, Cody.
No. That's true. You're way better at this than I am. I'm not trying to say that. So
don't be sensitive about it, Cody. Is that I do get what he's saying is that there is the hot name that is a nobody that we're over there chirping. It's like when I worked at this pizza shop. So I worked at this pizza shop when I was through high school and college, and in the 90s and the early 2000s, it was just a different world. It was like. But look, is that they only hired one girl to work at this. They called her the phone girl. They made her clean the lobby. She cleaned the tables, answer the phone. This girl could be the most busted girl in the world. And there was 17 dudes working there. And we would be like, hey, so what are you doing tonight? I mean, nobody's like, but it was just like
being in prison. Yeah.
It was just like, so I understand what he's saying about Malik Willis is we're just over there gushing over somebody who is below average. I get that, but you can't also say that we haven't been doing that too for people before that. Justin Fields, this and that, and I think that you can cherry pick. And I'm not sensitive. I just don't think people are saying that about Kenny Pickett. And we were talking about Kenny Pickett in that vein. Mm-hmm. Like we were sitting there picking. I was saying this: pick Kenny Pickett at little baby hands, two glove Pickett at number 8.
Okay, I'm already past JJ's phone call.
Yeah, let's go.
I'm already past. So, but 2 things because I'm getting some breaking news. CJA, I see you. I got the memo. But super chat by David Scrooge with the $5 love bomb. It says, "What about Stetson Bennett from Georgia?" Nobody's talking about him. Hey, I like Stetson, but that's a conversation.
Yeah. I'm a Georgia fan. Greatest quarterback, greatest college player ever, arguably.
Maybe.
And I need to share something with y'all. Sports Nut on Twitter has brought this to my attention, and it just came out too. So, not bringing it up. Could Sean and Tom Brady join forces in Carolina?
No, please.
Oh my! You know what? I don't know if I could cheer for this. To be honest, imagine this.
This is
imagine that,
dude.
Oh my God!
This is an article
That's a real
from
question.
Pro Football Talk. It's an article from Pro Football Talk. It says 4 teams are interested in Peyton: the Broncos, Cardinals, Texans, and Panthers. The first 2 have quarterbacks under massive contracts. The Texans need a lot more than Brady to become competitive. Enter the Panthers. The last to officially join the Peyton chase, Carolina has a very good defense, very good receivers, a solid running game, and an offensive line good enough to make it all go. They have an owner who has been desperate for a great coach and a franchise quarterback. Even though Brady would be a option, he'd fill the stadium and create a ton of excitement. This is the NFC South is currently not good. The Panthers would instantly become favorites to win the division. They could fatten up their record enough to become one of the top seeds, especially with the schedule rotation, having them face teams of the AFC South and the NFC North in 2023. What do we make of this? I don't even know what to think.
This is a 1-year fix. This is a quick fix trying to win a Super Bowl this year type deal. This is not a build a dynasty franchise type move, period.
Yeah.
I think if this happened, I would have to have, and I think all of us, every person listening to this podcast would have to have some sort of introspection about themselves. No, not a therapy. No, I think you would have to really have. You guys were being mad at me for saying I got to email my philosophy instructor about these statements and how they logically hold. This is an ethics and morality question right here that I don't know. Ultimately, this right here. First, is Sean Payton in the most punchable face? My friend on Twitter at Salesman says he's been saying this for 10 years, is that Sean Payton's got the most punchable face.
Yes.
And Tom Brady, arguably, is someone who I learned to respect I came to respect in that 2009 when you're talking about that Breeze run where he was so dominant. But when Brady is the GOAT, but at the same time, I feel like his persona or the respect level or respect meter has gone down. It went from the bottom to where he kind of I begrudgingly had to admit it. And now, his PR doesn't I wouldn't want to be his PR agent. I think this is that the question is, are you willing to just sell your soul? Right. I went down to Georgia, right? And I sold. Yeah, the devil went down to Georgia. We sold our soul. How far are you really willing to go? And ultimately, would you be able to get on this podcast next year with Sean Payton and Tom Brady and just say we're all in on these dudes? We like them. We're buying Brady jerseys. We're buying, what would we have to do? What stand would we take? I don't know if I feel comfortable. This may be a bridge too far for me.
Two real quick things. I'm not even going to take long. He says, hey, the refs and the NFL scriptwriters would be on our side. Which that's funny and also
what
true.
A great call. What a great.
Yeah, that's perfect. And also, look, whether you love it or hate it, it would be good for the podcast, dude. I think that's undeniable. It's so controversial.
I don't know how I could. I don't know how I could internalize it.
Everybody would love it and hate it at the same time. Go ahead, Greg.
Look, I wouldn't want this, like I said, because it's not a good move for the future moving forward. It's an immediate fix to win a Super Bowl. However, how fucking boss would it be to take Tampa Bay's quarterback and New Orleans coach and beat the shit out of them with it? That's the only thing. That would be fucking cool as hell.
That actually is a great
and their own coach. You know,
we only hate them because of that is. Man, it's like really stealing someone's wife and plowing their mom.
Yeah.
Destroyed.
And now you're their son's step.
Here's the thing you've got to, with that idea, because I haven't had an opportunity to express my opinion on this. You were literally adding two villains to the roster.
Right. With David Tepper. And you got David Tepper who looks like the bad dude from Superman or the guy from Punisher, the bad guy from Punisher.
Here's my reasoning. I know we want to see greatness, right? And Tom Brady has thrown for a lot of yards, but he has been far from what he has ever looked like. He has not looked like a Hall of Fame type quarterback this year. Let's be real about it. So number one, let's take that into consideration. Number two, even when Tom Brady this year, and this is why I would be against bringing in anybody, even like an Aaron Rodgers. These two guys have been so highly sought after as far as people believing these guys are the greatest. They have been they have been taking everything that they've gotten and put it in their mouth, right? They have just gone as far as they can go with both of these guys. And this year they both have struggled. Both of them have struggled. And their first reaction on the field is to look around and blame everybody else for their failings. And that has been absolutely frustrating to see. Like, I'm not like, it gives me a lot of, a little bit of joy when I see the Tampa Bay Buccaneers not winning, or when that happened in Dallas or against the Cowboys. But at the end of the day, I mean, these guys are players too. Like, when you see him walking off and he's like yelling at his teammates because they didn't do exactly what he thought that they should do on a scramble drill. Like, it's ridiculous. Like, these guys have been playing bad and they've been looking to their team to blame for the poor play that they've had on the field. And you can't put these guys on this team. Like, you just can't, especially a team that is just like, especially if we don't go with Steve Wilkes, this team is going to be a bit fractured. You can't put a guy on here who's going to make it even more fractured.
We got to get rid of the keep pounding moniker then. If we have David Tepper, Sean Payton, and Tom Brady, you know what? We're just going to start cheating. We're going to start marking the deck.
Keep selling your soul.
Yeah. I mean, I just go all in at that and just be like, hey, I got some beachfront property for you in Florida.
The reason why I agree with CK is basically just because of the level of drop off in Tom Brady's play. Like, if you watched him, there's times when he's just missing. And I don't know if you want to say that,
but he's still been. He threw 67 times yesterday, dude. Like, he is not as bad as you. Like, he would not save a team, but he also shouldn't have to play that way anymore. So he is better than half of the quarterbacks in the NFL right now. He might not be in the top 8, but he's definitely in the top 15.
Right.
Still, I just think that combining the two forces of negativity is a lot, except for when Greg says we could actually. How can we fuck the Falcons over in this? Like, what can we do? Can we just Algier. Take somebody from them too?
Yeah. Or what's the wide receiver that got suspended this year that didn't play for him?
They got traded to the Jags.
Yeah. Oh, shit. Oh, never mind.
Oh, dude, that's gonna be crazy when he comes back next year.
Maybe Matt Ryan could come and be Tom Brady's backup for free.
Oh no, Julio Jones. Julio Jones comes with him.
But look, here's the thing, Tony, is I get what you're saying. You're right. Like, realistically, he's not one of the top quarterbacks. But the thing is, everybody still looks at him as one of the top guys. And
you can win with him. You can still win with Tom Brady.
Maybe. Let me ask you something. Actually, now that you say that, I want to bring up Tom Brady's stats this year and see if they're comparable to, say, Sam Darnold's.
He's far more.
Dude, he threw like 9 million
yards. Far more yards. Does he have more touchdowns? Does he have?
He's got more wins.
Yeah, they've been throwing the ball a lot more. You gotta.
Can we go to the next call while you do it? Let's go to the next call while you do it. Numbers 252-228-5098.
Podcast brothers, how y'all doing? It's G Cavassier.
What up, G?
Hey man, we got permission to talk to Sean Payton, man. Hey man, I'm telling y'all like this: the Saints are gonna want a first round pick, man. I swear they're gonna want that shit, man. And to me, hey, I would love them to come to Carolina, man. And all that, coaches don't in the same division, they don't go to other teams. That's bullshit. Because take it back to the 90s. You know what I'm saying? Like, when I was a senior in high school, man, Bill Parcells, man, left the Jets and went to the damn Patriots and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? That was in the 90s. I remember that shit. So it's possible, but giving up the first round, I don't know, man. Then I keep seeing shit on the internet talking about Chicago will give up the first to get the damn for our number 9 or whatever. You know what I'm saying? I don't see that shit at all. I mean, give me y'all take on that. Keep pounding, y'all.
All right, man. Thank you. We've complicated that discussion by somehow throwing this stupid Pro Football Talk. How about that? Whoever wrote this for Pro Football Talk, kudos to them.
Oh yeah, it's a very good clickbait option.
I guarantee you it was
or
Mike
discussion
Florio.
bait in a way.
It was Mike
I
Florio.
guarantee
If he is,
you it
no,
was Mike Florio.
Man, he probably got some intern to do it. You think he just sat down and wrote that? Okay. That's awesome. I'm giving him credit. Like y'all hate most of y'all listening hate David Newton. I love him. Right there. I think that is an incredible story. I hate it. Put me in a dark place. It put me in an uncomfortable land.
What do you mean?
I don't know how would you talk to your children and explain it to them? I feel like it would, you know what I'm saying? It's like we're walking by a complete it's like walking past a factory that's a sweatshop.
Dude. You're all being too sensitive. I don't want it to happen.
No, Sean Payton, no problem. But you added Tom Brady, it made me feel uncomfortable.
Right.
I don't want it to happen.
It was like this: I was cheating on my wife with this girl, but all of a sudden her husband climbed in the bed, and I just got uncomfortable.
That was pretty
Dude,
uncomfortable before.
how about I do not want Tom Brady to be a part of this team, but listen, if the Panthers become the bad guys, whatever, dude. Who gives a shit? It's only for
But
a
we've
season
hung
or
our
two.
hat on this moral. We've tried for so long to be this keep pounding.
We're not Boy Scouts. Come on.
Can I point out something? Because I'm sitting here looking at.
I feel like we have tried to do that. Our heroes, Thomas,
Superman, Captain America, Spider-Man.
Yeah. Oh, we're good. We're a force of good. We are not. In fact, I've said this about the Saints. I've said they are just evil. I don't know if at what point do you join the dark side?
Right.
I mean,
are not a part of the dark side anymore.
No, you should always be on
it would be on the blue side.
Darth Vader became good.
He did in the end. Yes.
No, he did not.
He did. He ended up saving the whole thing at the end. Watch Return of the Jedi, one of the best movies ever. He ended up being good.
He saved Luke's life.
Because he killed the Emperor.
Hey, real quick, I'm just averaging out Sam Darnold's stats. Okay, so Sam Darnold played 6 games. Tom Brady played 18. So I'm just taking Sam Darnold's average and I'm multiplying it by 3 for 6 games. That'll give me 18 games to give me what Tom. If you average that out, Sam Darnold has 1,000 less yards than Tom Brady, but only 4 less touchdowns, the same amount of interceptions, and 1 less win. So
guess
basically,
what? Tom
Sam
Brady's
Darnold played as good as Tom Brady.
Sam Darnold's better than Tom Brady.
Sam Darnold better than Tom Brady this year. I'm just saying.
Greg just got hired by the IRS. That's what you just did. You're like, totally.
Sam Darnold,
There's
Tom
only
Brady,
one
same
way
guy.
we can fight these bitches. All right, let's go to Anthony and Charlotte.
Yo, what it do, C3? It's Anthony from Charlotte. You already know. Just got back from Jacksonville. That was an awesome experience. I saw the Chargers-Jaguars game. That game was fucking lit, man. That was probably my favorite game I've ever seen other than a Panthers game. And I'm going to get right into it, man. Sean Payton. I've been thinking about this, man. You need to get him. And I don't care that you trade that first. Even though our first-round picks have been great, they have not been game changers. They have not been Pat Mahomes. They have not been Josh Allen. They have not been Justin Herbert. Trade a first and trade a third in New Orleans. They have so many holes. I'm telling you right now, man, Sean Payton will immediately change our team. And also this, he will attract a good quarterback to come here. You don't know about the speculation yet, but even Sean Payton with Derek Carr, man, that would be a nice combination. I don't know what Panthers fans, what their expectations are, but I'm telling you right now, Wilkes isn't going to be the coach. He's just not. Like that. It's as simple as that. It's not realistic. He's not going to be the coach. And it's not because I hate Wilkes. It's just because this is how the league goes. I've already brought up multiple examples, mainly the example about how Rich Bisaccia brought that team all the way to the playoffs and didn't even get the job the next season. He got a job as a special teams coordinator. I'm telling y'all, man, I am telling you, Sean Payton is going to blow away David Tepper in the meeting on Friday in New York. And guess what? Everyone says, oh, well, it's not easy to blow away David Tepper. Yeah, well, it's good that a good coach is going to blow away David Tepper, because then he actually has all the right ammunition to make the right fucking move. I know I'm sounding like this, but Panther fans have been on my ass all day calling me crazy about, well, we don't want to trade this, we don't want to trade that. It's like, do something different. We have to do something different. Eventually, this division is going to be terrible. We have to do something different. We have to get the head coach. The head coach attracts good quarterbacks. The head coach attracts good free agents. Sean Payton was the one that found Drew Brees when he tore his shoulder and thought he was never going to be able to play football again. If Drew Brees was so good, the Chargers would have retained him over Phillip Rivers. That's what I got to say, and I got a part 2 coming. So get ready, C3. It's going down. Anthony from Charlotte, let's go.
Anthony.
Let's comment on this. You guys comment quickly on his first part.
Okay.
Then we'll go to part 2.
Before he gets to part 2, they got rid of Drew Brees because they had Phillip Rivers, who was, by the way, another Hall of Fame quarterback, possibly first ballot Hall of Fame quarterback.
He's a bump. Fuck that
bullshit. He's going to be a first ballot Hall of Fame quarterback.
He's not
even close. He's not even close.
I'm not saying he's better than Drew Brees. No, I'm not saying that.
He's not.
But there's a good chance he'll make the first ballot, probably second ballot, though. You're right. Probably second. Either way, he's a Hall of Fame quarterback. Second of all, let me ask you, if you're going to trade away your first round pick,
I ever heard.
You're going to trade away your first round pick for Sean Payton. What are you doing in the future? Like what's the next move? Are you moving forward Sam Darnold, Matt Corral?
Not drafted Vernon Butler.
Like what's
Corral,
the move?
baby.
Like if you get Sean Payton, you are severely limiting yourself to what you can do in the future. So what is Sean Payton
or
do
whatever Carr? I bet you he could take Carr. Him and Carr would be
It's
dope.
not that severe.
Dude, y'all
act like we're trading
think that coaches
every
can all of a
pick.
sudden make players all-star players.
These whatever pick we would give up, if we give up next round pick, that's not nothing. First rounds come and go,
So
and we're
if we
back
give
to
up
having
the
another
ninth
first round pick the
this
year
year
after.
in the draft, if we give up the 9th pick this year in the draft for Sean Payton, you're cool with that?
No, not this year, but I don't think that's what they're going to do. I think they're going to do
I don't even
future
give a
pick.
shit at this point.
Hey, 2 super chats real quick. White Chocolate Espresso with the $2. This is a guy who put a bounty on Cam. No, he didn't put a bounty on Cam. That was 2019 or 2009 that bounty gate happened. Cam wasn't a part of it. That fight me on that. Cam was not a part of that. White Chocolate Espresso also says, will y'all love Sean Payton? Sean, after Taysom gets that one, he's just trolling. No one's gonna fucking.
I
trade
think
for
a
Payton,
more
though.
compelling argument to me against Sean Payton and any of this is less about the draft picks and more about the ethics of the move. Like, I think if you really want to talk me out of it, you should really kind of talk me out of it based on the fact that I want to win with be a positive force of good, not buy. You know what I'm saying? I don't sell my soul. Like, at what point? I think, and the Tom Brady question really just put me on this, guys. Like, I mean, with just Sean Payton, I can get past it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But both to go, oh my god!
Right.
Like, at some point, I feel like it's the difference between killing somebody and killing a kid.
Right. I think that if you're gonna sign Sean Payton for if he's gonna be here for the next 10 years, then okay, I can understand that. But if you're signing Sean Payton and Tom Brady right now, then I want to ask all the Saints fans and all the Tampa Bay fans how they feel right now, because they traded their soul for this a few years ago, and where are they at right now?
Who?
Well, basically Tampa Bay fans. You had
they
1
got a
year
Super
of
Bowl.
success and 2 years of kind of failure.
We've never had a Super Bowl. Think about this. Actually, here's a question. Here's another way of rephrasing.
Then
No,
90%.
how about
They were
this?
in
How about this?
they were in the NFC Championship last year, Greg.
Who?
No, they weren't.
The Tampa Bay Buccaneers weren't. They got bumped in the first round last year.
Let me ask you this: would you
That wasn't the
rather
first
be?
round.
Let
That
me
was the
ask
first
you. No,
round
just
last year they
simply.
got
This is a
bumped.
great question, Greg. I mean, it's a good question. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers have been the Tampa Bay Succaneers for 20 out of the last 22 years.
I wouldn't call it that. They've
But
won a Super
in
Bowl in the last 20
those
years.
22 years,
They've won a Super Bowl
they
in the last
won
20 years.
2 Super Bowls.
But they
They won.
that
They did
includes,
the Gruden. No, they traded for Gruden. And they got Rich Gannon. They got that one with Warren Sapp. That was either 90. I think it was 2000.
It was right.
I
around that
really
time,
think it was 2000. But even if, I'm pretty sure
it was right before Brady took over. Yeah,
it was not the 90s.
no.
But what I'm
right
saying
Brady
is this:
over, yeah.
Would you rather be a team that has 2 Super Bowls? How perfect is that? They sold their soul for a Super Bowl, not a Super Bowl. Would you rather have 2 Super Bowls bookended by 18 years of suckiness, or have no Super Bowls where the bookshelf is filled with okay? But I don't want to hear the argument is like, would you just do that for this? The answer is yes.
Tony,
the answer is yes. If it's a Super Bowl appearance, it's worth it.
Tony,
if it's a Super Bowl, it's totally worth it. Would you rather be
no less?
Would one Super Bowl and 8 years of losing be better than 8 years of mediocrity and no Super Bowl for you as a fan, Greg?
Can I bring this up for you real quick though? While you ask me that question, this factors into it. In the last 20 years, the Patriots have gone to Super Bowl. Well, it says won 5 times. This is wins. Giants twice, Steelers twice, Bucks twice. Everybody else once. Carolina's been twice. Okay, so we're going down this list. Carolina's in the top 15 or top 20% of the NFL for making the Super Bowl in the last 20 years. There's only been a few teams to make it 2 times in the last 20 years. We haven't won one, but whatever you want to say about Carolina,
would you rather be a Bills fan
2 times in the last 20 years?
Would you rather be a Bills fan or a Bucks fan?
Right now?
No, historically, because you could say they went to the Super Bowl 4 years in a row and lost it. Would you rather be the Buccaneers who won 1 Super Bowl in 2000 or be the Bills who went to the Super Bowl 4 years in a row? So I understand that, yes, we have been a success. My question is this. I don't know my answer to it, Greg, so I'm not convicted enough to tell you how I exactly feel on this. My question, though, to the listeners and to you guys a little bit, and it's rhetorical. We don't have to overly discuss it. But would you rather, is us one Super Bowl, would you, if we said this, is I could promise you a Super Bowl in the next 4 years, 1 Super Bowl, but then the next 18 years of your football career or football organization would be mediocre to poor? Or would you rather have better than average and no Super Bowls as a fan? And I don't know. I think that's a hard question.
You had
It's
not hard at all.
What would you give for
it's
one
not even kind of hard.
Super Bowl?
You do it. I agree with Anthony in the chat. If you have an opportunity to win a Super Bowl, that's all that matters, man. You're trying to win the whole thing.
Don't you think Dan Marino would say that?
Yeah,
Don't you think Dan Marino would say that? I think John Elway would say that because you know what? He didn't get one till the end. It's just so hard.
Right.
If you would have been, to win. Just remember this podcast in 2015, and you guys were all fans in 2015. Mm-hmm. We felt like we would be back.
Yeah.
I was sitting here going, Dave Gettleman for president. Dave Gettleman for president, this and that. It just felt like this. We might not be back in the Super Bowl, but I thought like it symbolized maybe what the Chiefs are in right now. And that is always around, always there. The Patriots now. It was the Patriots then, but now it's the Chiefs. Now it's maybe the Bills, maybe the 40. I thought we would always be in the conversation, and we went from that to not even close. So I'm just saying maybe it's just better to win the lottery once than to win a couple of 10,000 scratch offs.
White chocolate espresso raises the best point. So Peyton guarantees us a Super Bowl. Because that's the thing. We're talking about winning Super Bowls here. So, like, does one of these signings, Peyton or Brady?
Well, I don't know if
guarantee a Super
anything
Bowl?
guarantees you a Super Bowl.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
So then what does that matter? You know what guarantees you to not win the lottery? Not buying a lottery ticket.
I agree with you with that. But the thing is, we still have a head coach and a quarterback. So we're not buying a lottery ticket.
Hey, man.
Okay, let's just get, you know what? Let's bring back Matt Rule and keep our first round picks instead of having Sean Payton.
That's not what we're saying. This is not what we're saying.
Who
We're not
do you
saying
want
bring back
instead,
Matt Rule. Matt
Who do you
Rule
want
was
instead?
Honestly, here's the thing. You're sitting here. We're gonna miss 100% of the shots we don't take, right?
No.
Well, guess what?
Hold on. Michael Davis. Michael Davis, I need to say this. He says, so you want to be the Bills from the 91-94? No, that's what I'm saying. Would you rather be the people who never won a Super Bowl, were always close, or be the person who won a Super Bowl and didn't get back there for a long time? All right, CK, I interrupted you. I'm sorry.
I can't remember what we were talking about. I got lost there with what you were saying.
I know. I don't know, Chad. Whatever. No, I'm sorry. I'm angry.
Worth trading for as a coach.
I said this. I said that is. Would you rather keep Matt Rule and keep your first?
We're talking being guaranteed.
Let's never mention that name again.
Hold on. The argument of you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. Well, guess what? You would be saying that same shit if we wanted to take Ben Johnson. Right. And people were saying, we don't want to take Ben. If you were a really big fan of Ben Johnson and people said, I'm not interested in big Ben Johnson, you'd be like, well, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. Well, it's because you like the guy. You want him to be your quarter. Just because we want a different guy to be our head coach doesn't mean we're not taking a shot. It means that we're taking probably a more an equally risky shot with somebody else who isn't a rival of
perhaps more risky.
Potentially, but possibly not.
Is
right?
it more risky? Okay.
But my point, potentially, you never know. I mean, you don't know what Sean Payton's going to do on our team.
Right.
You don't know what he's capable of doing. Everything's a risk here. But at the end of the day, my thoughts are we can trade away draft capital to make it happen. On top of getting a guy who we have hated for the past 10 years, who has disrespected the Panthers in every chance he's ever fucking gotten. That's what you guys are forgetting. He has disrespected the Panthers every chance he's ever had to disrespect the Panthers. And you guys want him on our squad. I know you're sitting here saying, well, a Super Bowl changes that. You're not going to guarantee a Super Bowl first and foremost with him coming to the team. History proves that. Regardless of how good his team is, you cannot promise me he's going to get you to the Super Bowl. Second, you're giving away draft capital to do that. Third is if we trade all this shit for Sean Payton, and then one of these other guys that were on the list of candidates goes and wins multiple Super Bowls, we've already fucking lost.
Agreed.
I have two things.
However,
write this down. Read it.
Anthony Picarillo with the $5 says we have never won. I just want one Super Bowl so I can get drunk and cry. Anthony,
don't worry, you get drunk and cry all the time, every Tuesday.
Yeah,
don't worry.
I've gotten drunk and cried.
I'm drunk and crying right now.
Yeah. I want to get drunk and be happy. Yeah.
I have to. Are you done with the super chats yet?
Yeah.
Okay, here. Cody, write this. I wrote it down. Here's a debate my take. We don't have to do it. What is a greater risk? An unknown coach and Ben Johnson, Ken Dorsey, right? You pick your name, whoever, and keeping your first round pick, or Sean Payton and not having a first round pick. Because the people who have been arguing against us with the Sean Payton acquisition have talked about the risk and reward and have continued to revisit that first round pick. Is it not a greater potential risk to take an unknown head coach and just a unknown player at first in the first round? No. Would you just get okay?
So let me ask you this, Tony.
I think that's a greater risk than taking Sean Payton with no first round pick.
Let me ask you this, Tony. If we have Sean Payton this year, and who was our first round pick this year?
This past year?
This past year.
Who was our first round? Icky.
Icky. If we have Sean Payton and no Icky, do we finish the same way we did?
Man, probably maybe better.
You think so? With no left tackle and a coach that can have a half-ass quarterback, you think that we finish Better than we did?
Yeah, I think I think Sean Payton could have at least copped 6 wins. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, I know, man. Like, yeah, I think he could have done equivalent with no Icky.
So if you can do equivalent with no Icky, why wouldn't you take Icky and the coach you've got and just stick with what you got? Why move?
Why wouldn't you just wait one more year and give?
Okay. Why make a lateral move? Is what I'm saying.
It's not lateral. That's my point.
It is lateral if you get the same result.
Anthony with another $2 says, "Is his first round pick? Ice up fans."
All right, it is 1 first round pick. He's basically making the assumption that it's only going to be 1 first round pick for the Panthers, who are a rival of the Saints. The Saints know how good of a coach he can be, and you think they want to face him twice a year and have him be in the division? Let's be real about it. You guys, if anybody who thinks that this is
that's
a first round draft pick,
right?
You think this is 1 first round draft pick for the Panthers? You were out of your fucking mind. If you think
it's almost just kind of out of our mind to think that the Saints would even be interested in making it happen with Carolina. Like, they would just make it too expensive to make it work. Like, I mean, because if it's just a first. But here, let's go to Anthony's next call real quick.
What's up, C3? It's Anthony from Charlotte. Quick part 2. And, yeah, you know, this is the thing with Sean Payton, right? The reason I want Sean Payton is because any quarterback we draft or get in free agency, I will be full confident in. Now, even if it's like Will Levis, I'll be confident that guy can fix him. He said on the Colin Cowherd show that it's his second favorite quarterback. What I'm getting to is that this is an offensively ran league, man. And all the people that say he ran away from the Saints, well, he was the one that found Drew Brees. He was the one that won 9 games with Jameis Winston, man. He has what we are missing. And everyone says, well, we're only a few pieces away. Yeah, if you're only a few pieces away, that's when you trade draft picks. That's when you make a big time move. Just like the Rams. That's what you do, man. That is exactly what you do. These offensive-minded coaches have made quarterbacks, quote-unquote, bust look average to good, reviving their career. Baker Mayfield, yeah, my motherfucking boy that I still love and will still support wherever he goes, even though he's not been a good quarterback. McVay was able to make him look average with no receivers, no Cooper Kupp, no Robinson. He had Van Jefferson and Tutu Atwell as his receivers.
Sam Darnold looked average.
Wow, I wonder why. Is that Baker Mayfield or is that the coaching? Well, it's the damn coaching, man. And I'm telling y'all right now, Sean Payton has won a Super Bowl. This division is weak. You have to get a head start. Do what you got to do, man. Ben Johnson is staying in Detroit. The other candidates just aren't great, man. I'm telling y'all. Roman Harper said on a him and Bailey and Harper podcast, you can look up the episode. He said he truly thinks Mickey Loomis is going to trade Sean Payton to Carolina, not because it's a division rival, but because you have to treat Sean Payton like a player. He's a proven commodity. That's what we need in this league. I don't care what anyone says. Sean Payton will instantly make us a top contender in the NFC. The division is weak, and if you look at the other teams, Rodgers is probably leaving, Brady's leaving. They're probably going to go to the AFC. The Eagles were the number 1 seed this year, but they didn't really play anyone, man. And their division is getting better. Daniel Jones and the Giants. Dak Prescott balled the fuck out last night. I'm telling y'all, man, we have the weakest division. Now is the time to take advantage of it. Anthony from Charlotte, C3, y'all are the best. Keep motherfucking pounding, boys.
I don't think we're very close either, though.
Great points.
I don't think we're very close. So if the answer is that we're that close and he's going to make the biggest difference, I think he will make a difference, but we'll have to also get better in the process. But I don't know if it's like we're plug and play away because the division stinks so much. But he is right. I mean, the division is a downfall. And somebody in the chat brought up this is maybe we're underselling this. Is it's not just a first round pick.
Right.
It's a first round pick to a division team, though. it's like in theory, like a first round pick to an AFC team is different than a first round pick to your division rival.
Right.
So maybe we're underestimating just what, it's just a first round. Not all first round picks are the same.
I would say,
there's a difference between a first and a top 8 and a top 30. And there's also got to be a difference between a first round pick to another conference and your division rival.
But that's what I mean. Yeah. Like when you're talking about, when my entire argument with regard to Sean Payton is not only are we not guaranteed the things that we're talking about, not only are we getting a morally flexible coach who doesn't have respect for other teams and their fans, i.e. how he's treated us, how he's treated the Vikings fans before the Minneapolis Miracle, doing the skull chant in front of them when he thought he was going to win that game.
Sweep. He sent us the broom.
So, well, he did that in his locker room with the broom, where he's doing the sweep. I mean, the dude is morally flexible. Let's just say that at the very least.
Is he like a Urban Meyer of the NFL that's successful though?
Right. Well, I mean, that's the thing is and it's not even the end of my point. You have that. Now you have to trade away draft picks. And the idea that right now, even Sean Payton believes that his compensation for a trade would probably be a mid to late round, right? Well, number one, this year we already don't have a mid to late round. So let's take that equation.
How do we not have? Oh, you mean a mid to late round first?
Yeah. So let's take that into the equation. Second, if we're talking about a 2024 first round pick, we also know a next year's draft pick is devalued in comparison to this year's draft pick. So like a 15, like if we were guaranteed to pick 15 this year and 15 next year, well, next year's 15 isn't as valuable as this year's 15. Okay. In the eyes of the way that you look at valuing draft picks. So that's number one. So even if we are able to give them a first for next year and a fourth this year, that's still not going to be enough to compensate for the division rival aspect to this on top of it all. Like we are not the idea that
you're asking really if the Saints would even do it.
We're asking if the Saints would even do it. Number one.
Right.
Number two, you're asking if the Saints would be willing to do it for the same price that the Denver Broncos would be willing to do it?
No, they would not. No, they wouldn't.
Right.
They would, because you're right. No, you don't even have to go that far. Is the ultimately is this, will the Saints just try to punish you so much in the process,
right,
to where no matter what, it's not worth it.
I want, and then we should probably move on to some of the slides here. But I did want to rebut CK on one point. So I do not think Sean Payton is going to be as expensive as you're saying he is, even though he's 100%. He 100% will not be, and I'll tell you how. So this season is the only year left can even get some collateral back in return for Sean Payton.
So they have like 30 days. They have like 30 days.
So this is what I'm saying. Meaning after 2023, they're not going to be able to get anything for him. So
guess what,
another
Cody?
thing, hold on. Another thing to remember is that him and Mickey Loomis are like best friends with one another. If Sean Payton really wanted to go to Carolina, not only would Loomis be able to make it, but Loomis would be able to say, "Hey, I got a first round pick in return for Sean Payton," which is probably the most that we're even going to get out of it.
No,
first and foremost, they don't have as much leverage as you think.
They 100% do. You want to know why? You're making this argument that next year he won't get any draft capital. He's not going to make it to next year, regardless of whether we draft him or not. He will get a first round draft pick from another team for this year, guaranteed. Promise you that. Any of these other teams that he is interviewing for, if you're saying the price of that, if you're saying the price is not going to be that much.
If Payton wants to come to Carolina, I guarantee you Loomis would try and make that happen.
They might be best friends. Okay, they might be best friends. But guess what?
No, Loomis but he would just say this: the Texans will give us a first round pick.
Right.
That's who you get.
The Texans will give a first round pick.
I think CK's right. I thought that Cody was coming in here throwing a haymaker.
He's not going to choose to go to.
He is right, but you know what? His stock his value only has 30 days left on it. Right, because if you say they have his rights through, but you know what I'm saying is like you don't become a coach in the middle of the season. You know what I'm saying? So like he's either going to be a coach of a team in the next 30 days or the Saints are going to lose that draft capital.
Right.
Like Cody is saying, which is a fantastic point, but I do think CK is right. At the same time, is they just will if he is such a hot commodity, there's probably 6 teams that would give him a first round pick, and 3 of those have better fucking first round picks than we do.
To go there.
Indianapolis, Houston.
In my mind,
why wouldn't he want to go to Houston
he's not going
or
to
Indianapolis?
Houston. Nah, he's not going to Houston. He's not going to Indy. Too much of a rebuild, and they don't have a franchise quarterback. I mean, I understand we don't have that here, but I'm saying the Arizona
I
Cardinals.
felt like you were just talking about us.
No, dude. Listen, my point, if Sean Payton decides after speaking with David Tepper that he wants to be a Carolina Panther, want to go to any of those other
because
teams
maybe some has to do with his contract too.
They would make that happen.
All right, here's the other part to this. If you
Boom.
really believe, all right,
Like a
you ready for the
ping-pong
you ready for the counterpunch, Tony? You
go.
said that they're best friends, and if Sean Payton wants to go somewhere, Mickey Loomis will make it happen. Well, what if Mickey Loomis, his best friend, wants more draft capital for him, or wants to be able to not trade him to his fucking division rival and have to face him twice a year?
What if Mickey Loomis is the GM?
It's not.
Yes.
Mickey Loomis is not the owner, right?
He's a GM.
Okay. Yeah. So why would not, if they're such great buddies, why wouldn't they just both go to Houston and take a fucking giant bag together?
Nobody wants to go to Houston. They
Why?
have
They have
much
3
to
first-round
rebuild.
draft picks. They have 3
have
first-round
some
draft
good
picks, and they
players.
have $1 bazillion of money, and they have the damn.
And so does Chicago.
Yeah, but Houston has no state taxes.
Yeah, okay.
Like, no, I mean, like, actually, what are you trying to tell me that if you think you're as good as you are, if you think you're Sean Payton and you're making, what if they teamed up? Fuck it. Let's fire Fitterer. Let's do this. Bring in Loomis and Sean Payton and Tom Brady. And let's fucking just go all in, man. We're just walking into hell.
Well,
think about it. The Texans need a GM, dude. The Texans need a GM.
They
would be a total upgrade.
They have the Patriots.
No, he's fucking terrible. He sucks. He sucks.
They courted him for
He's getting
years.
fired.
He's getting fired. A squirrel here.
All right, hold on. I got
a squirrel here.
I've got to do this. Tyler has been saying, keep your receipts on Cody, on CK. I want Sean Payton.
Yeah.
And then in the same breath, he just said, Sean Payton wants to go to a place with a great owner, and he's still keeping Carolina at the top of that fucking. Are you kidding me? Tyler, you cannot be that person right now.
I agree.
Look, a rich owner.
Can I
He
bring
meant
up
a rich owner.
Wrapping it
Sean
back
Payton has a
around the
no
call.
trade clause, by the way.
Can I bring up one point,
yeah,
wrapping it
that's
back
a
around
good
the call? And this caller brought up how great Sean Payton was, even when we didn't have Drew Brees. Okay, so the year he didn't have Drew Brees, okay, they lost 8 games.
Appreciate it.
And their quarterback did throw for 5,109 yards. Jameis Winston, amazing, 33 touchdowns. And you're going to give the coach credit for that? That's fine. Give him credit for the 30 interceptions. Then give him credit for the 9 losses.
Why are we talking about that?
I'm just saying because that was what the call was about. Peyton being
without
without
yeah,
Brees. That was the original call was about. And I'm just saying, going back to that, his year without Brees was not great. He had a quarterback.
Yeah, you know what? Caldwell. Here's by the way,
NFL history.
Here's
Bill Belichick has missed
he was
years
not great.
in a row.
Belichick
Jim has
Caldwell,
missed the playoffs 2 years in a row.
Jim
Caldwell,
But
I'm not saying Belichick's an amazing coach. So I'm not.
Every coach struggles without their starting quarterback.
Belichick has not missed the playoffs 2 years in a row. Never once.
Maybe not last year, but the year before.
He missed it 1 year
What
before.
was his first year without? What was his first year without?
The year he got Cam Newton.
Cam.
And then the year after that, they got Mac Jones
last
and went
year.
to the playoffs.
They were bad last year. All right, here. Let's not go down that squirrel chasing road. Greg,
shout out to Anthony, by the way.
That's funny.
Said no. And but this is the last thing I'll say about the Sean Payton thing. I believe that on me and CK's debate, I think I'm right. If they end up saying that if Sean Payton decides I want to go to Carolina and that's the only team that I'm going to waive my no trade clause for, then both Loomis and the Panthers would make.
I think you're right. I think we found the reason that Cody will have to win this debate is because it will come down to money at that point. And so, like, while he would want to be traded to any other team, Tepper could ultimately pull out the big dick fucking checkbook. And no other owner can do that except for Seattle and Denver. And Denver might not even be able to do it now because of what they did for Denver's owner. I think is like the richest in the NFL right now.
Yeah, they are.
Like then you know what I'm saying?
They have like 20
is it the Walmart
billion,
people?
They have
Walmart
like
people,
$20 billion than David Tepper.
You've got to throw another wrinkle into this as well. Okay. There is rumors or there has been reports that are coming from in Sean Payton's camp that he was mad that he has already removed himself from the equation as far as the Arizona Cardinals job because they've hired their GM already. And he said he did not want to be a part of the report is that he wants to be in control of the entire roster. Right.
But that doesn't mean he wouldn't have control.
Potentially, we've got a
the
GM.
GM would just be the second in command.
He did say this on Colin Cowherd. I believe it was today or yesterday. You guys can pull it up on Twitter, but I don't want to get banged for it. But he did mention, like, basically in the same breath that he was going to meet with the Carolina Panthers, that you want to make sure that you don't have opponents before you take the field, is what he said. And he said, in the way the organization works, the relationship in the organization, you know, what you're exactly talking about is that will be a component of his negotiation as well. It will not just be money alone, but also how much power, like how much would Tepper almost have to defer to Sean Payton too much for it to really happen? You know, I mean, you really are just
we had the same conversation with Harbaugh.
Me. You're almost saying, come in and, you know what, my wife.
But we had the same conversation with Harbaugh.
But Harbaugh's turned out to be bizarre. Can we just go ahead and say that? Or not, if you just pull it up, we don't even have to pull it up, but Harbaugh is out. He's staying in college. Our last Sean Payton is staying in college.
Panthers probably knew this. The Panthers probably got wind of this, and that's why they they said, "Nah, we're out on that." But
we're not going to be a part of that rat race,
yeah. But hey, before we go any further, listen, if you've made it this far into the show, you're probably a pretty dedicated C3 Panthers fan, and if you know, then you know that we do around because freaks that roam the YouTube halls of this C3 pleasure house that we have, you know, pleasure in your ears with all this Panthers news and information. It's time for something. Big Papa, talk to him.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages, the Carolina Panthers are still without a head coach. Now, there's a lot of speculation, a lot of rumors, a lot of opinions about who it should be, who it shouldn't be. Not Sean Payton. And you've come here to the C3 Panthers podcast to talk about it, to have a conversation, to maybe even express your views. Maybe hear what the three other guys on the panel, including myself being the fourth, have to say about it. But you've come in here and you've, sat down, you got comfortable. You didn't wipe your feet off, though, on that damn like button. Well, I have one thing to say to all you absolute freaks. Subscriber shame.
$205 strong viewers, 90 thumbs up, hit that like button, hit that subscribe, hit that notification bell for every single time the C3 Panthers podcast goes live. Hey, man, we're putting out content all year round. We never take a day off. Like my man Kevin Gates said, we don't get tired. Okay? We don't get tired. We're going to keep on doing this until the Panthers know who their head coach is, damn it. Tony Dunn, what we got next?
Hey, guys. It's the growl that makes them howl, a.k.a. Joey the Blind Panther. And y'all were talking about quarterbacks, and I made a video about this yesterday. If you look at the quarterbacks that are in the playoffs, how many of those quarterbacks were top 5 picks?
None of the
One.
NFC, all the
And that's
AFC.
Cody's boy, Trevor Lawrence, who, by the way, pulled off the ballsiest of wins in the playoffs against the LA Chargers, and Justin Herbert, who was a
Trevor's the man.
overall pick, not a top 5. And I want to tell you that, I mean, and look at Trey Lance versus Brock Purdy. The Niners traded up to number 3 to get Trey Lance. And what has he done? Not a damn thing. Jimmy Garoppolo replaces him and does real well. And now Brock Purdy, Mr. Irrelevant, is playing in the playoffs and actually playing pretty well. So that leads me to thinking that, damn, like why trade up for a quarterback to get into the top 5 for a quarterback? And I'll give you a rundown of the top 5 quarterbacks. A quarterback picked at each pick. All right. 1, Baker Mayfield, first overall pick. What has he done? He was all right. Took the team to the playoffs, won a playoff game against the bad Steelers team. Number 2, let's see, who was picked at number 2? I don't know anybody was picked at number 2. You got Zach Wilson. Where's Zach Wilson? Bench for Mike White.
I thought he was doing that joke on purpose. He really was. He was
number
like,
3, Trey Lance. Brock Purdy's in the playoffs. He's not. Hold on a minute. Number 4. I don't know any quarterback that was taken at number 4. But number 5, Tua, 1 playing in the playoffs. So there's your rundown on top 5 quarterbacks and how well they work out.
That was injuries.
Sam Darnold looks a lot like the quarterbacks that are in the playoffs. Anyway, guys.
I got this.
Wow.
Yeah, you can't use that as an excuse when he's not playing because he's injured. If he wasn't injured, he would be playing. So that's not an excuse right there. And on top of that, we went over this a few weeks ago with a complete flip. The NFC is all players that were not drafted as top prospects as quarterbacks within the first round, and they're in the playoffs. The AFC, however, is different. All of those quarterbacks were drafted in the top 15, expected to be franchise quarterbacks going into the future, and they all are. So there is a big difference. It's one side and the other. We went over that a few weeks ago. Like, look at the AFC. Patrick Mahomes, Justin Herbert, Joe Burrow, what's the guy from Buffalo? Josh Allen.
Josh Allen's one of these guys. He could have been on
playing,
this
but he should have been in the
right
game. Look, you're looking at all top 15 quarterbacks there. The NFC is different. So I'll give you that. There is an argument for this for sure, but it's not a definite that if you're a top quarterback.
Daniel Jones was drafted number 6 with the Giants. He was drafted number 6 overall.
And he might be on the move
That's what
too.
I'm saying.
Isn't
there's
this interesting?
However, there are 7 top 15 quarterbacks that are in the AFC playoffs right now.
This is here's a real truth though, is that the guys on your screen right now likely could be on the move, right? If Purdy has had an incredible run, right? And then so they're either if it feels like San Francisco would be taking more of a risk going back to Trey Lance than they would either staying with Purdy or acquiring somebody or like a veteran. So Trey Lance, who they put a lot of resources into, could be on the move for dirt cheap. Zach Wilson has been a disaster with the New York Jets. They're ready to move on. And interestingly, too, even Mac Jones isn't safe. And I think there are other names that we could have put up here to look on this list when it comes to the Dolphins. So but if you think about this, is that where he is interested is the truth of this matter is we were ready to invest in a lot of any of these guys on this screen right now. Oh, and even Justin Fields.
No, not any of them. Don't say any of them. I would never have invested in Matt Jones.
Yeah,
you wouldn't have taken him. That you would have really been pissed if the Panthers took him at 8.
Yes, I would have been.
Remember?
Not only would I have been pissed, I would have been furious. How about this? I would have been
disappointed.
There's only 2 quarterbacks that aren't on the Panthers that are currently that I would trade for right now.
Say it again.
There's only 2 quarterbacks that I would trade for that are on other teams right now. That's Justin Fields, and it's Jordan Love.
No.
Jordan Love the Green Bay Packers, because he's been sitting under Aaron Rodgers for the past 3 years, and he's been getting better and better. And when he did step in for Aaron Rodgers this year, he did look pretty good. But other than that, none of those guys are at the top of my list.
You're crazy. What about this guy right here, Lamar Jackson?
Hell no, too expensive.
So,
what's too expensive?
The amount of money it would
the
cost,
amount, the amount of the amount of draft picks and the amount of guaranteed dollars for a guy who has never done jack shit in the playoffs, and now people are questioning.
Whoa!
I'm with Cody on this.
He's never done jack shit. I don't want to hear about. Oh, he had an MVP season. Fine, whatever. How does that mean that he's a franchise quarterback? I mean, no, he's definitely a franchise quarterback, but I'm not giving up. I'm not giving up that amount of draft capital for a guy that has never proven himself in the playoffs. He never clutches it up in the playoffs.
Yeah, are you talking about Jackson?
Yeah, that's who.
Lamar Jackson.
I think I know where you're coming from. Okay, I agree with you. Jackson's an amazing player right now. But Jackson and Kyler Murray are RG3s.
He's just trying to hide CK because he agrees with me.
I can almost promise you in 5 years, they will not be playing in the NFL. I'm just saying, they will not be playing. Mobile quarterbacks who are not big do not last in the NFL. Mobile quarterbacks who are big last 3 or 4 years more than the guys who don't. That's only like 8 years. Mobile quarterbacks just don't last in the NFL, man. Lamar Jackson and Kyler Murray will not be relevant in the next 5 years. And you know what? I hope they both take that to the bank and they both prove me wrong. But they will not be relevant in the next 5 years. They're going to get injured. They're going to turn out like RG3. Period. They look like Lego players playing out there.
What about not what will? Maybe we don't need to be talking about what will happen. Is we shouldn't, and some people should be talking about what is happening right now. I mean, it's just interesting. Kind of story with Lamar. Yeah, I mean the injury over the last 6 weeks is that generally you sit out the preseason and hardball your contract. He's hardballing his contract at the end of the season. And will it turn out to be brilliant? Because some people are saying, or people continue to point that he doesn't have an agent as being the problem. But I don't know. It's like if Lamar Jackson signs with another team and the Ravens take a first-round pick for him, did he make financially a good move? And I would say probably yes.
Financially,
he might be the one player finding his way out of Baltimore without having to sign the franchise tag. By sitting out at the end instead of the beginning. Interesting. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then the press cycle isn't on you. If you sit out the season, the whole press cycle is on you every Sunday. Lamar might be onto something here.
He is. I just believe that what he's doing to prove his worth and make more money in Baltimore right now, if he's not injured, while it may help his financial future, will not help his playing future. Because players don't want to play with a guy who's going to not play whenever you don't get paid. Like
I think players will forget that.
At least me personally, when I'm on a team, I want to play with a guy who wants to win. Like, I want to get paid too, but I also want to win, and winning is the most important thing. And
but you're getting paid, bro. You'll be there anyway. You might say that in your heart right now because you're not getting paid. But if you were,
are you
getting,
are you eating ramen? Seriously?
No. What I'm saying is this:
Like,
if Lamar came to Carolina, you wouldn't be like, "Oh, I don't know if I could play with this dude."
I don't know.
Well,
there's less moral questions than Tom. There's less moral
Sure,
questions.
I agree with
of
that.
Lamar coming to Carolina
You're
than
right,
there were
you're
with
right,
the Tom
you're right.
Brady
And originally,
and the Deshaun. Like that's what I'm saying.
And-
It's like I wouldn't
you're
be
right.
like, oh,
Tony, you're right. Originally, you wouldn't be able to. But say Lamar does come here next year, okay? And say he plays here 2 years and we haven't given him a big deal, okay? And you're DJ Moore and you're playing
no,
with this
you would
guy.
have to
You've been
give it
playing
to
with
him
2
next
years.
year.
And
I'm ready
2
to
years,
give it to
2 years
him.
later,
Give it to him.
he
Fuck
won't
it.
play because he doesn't have this money. If you're DJ Moore, are you going to feel the same way about him 2 years later when he won't play because he's not getting the money?
That's why you just
That's
pay him
all
the
I'm
money
saying.
right now.
That's all I'm saying.
Here's
Pay him the money,
you know?
here's the biggest detractor for me right now is I understand holding out, right? Even at the beginning of the season. But what he has done, if he is in fact, and this is a big assumption, right? If he is in fact holding himself out and he is able to actually play football, which we don't know this, but if that is in fact the way that it is, because you have his own teammates having come out and said something to the sort, such as I think Sammy Watkins. Am I wrong on that? I think he was talking about it. If he's holding himself out
Man, fuck Sammy Watkins.
at the end of the year while you're in the
That's my boy.
playoffs, you aren't just impacting your own paycheck. You're impacting the paychecks of those people around you.
Fuck
Because don't fuck that. You are the leader of this fucking team. You are the leader of this team.
Those guys are the reason you're making that money you're making. I'm sorry.
That's
Those
acting
guys
like
are the
you're
reason you're
healthy,
doing it.
though. But if you are,
I agree with you.
if you have any bit of concern about your health, like I mean, like
Sure.
if your knee is like, yeah, you could play under it if we were in World War II and we had to get across the enemy lines or we're gonna die, right? But like, is that if he has an injury, which he has had, right? It's just a question of how hard do you want to push the recovery. But I don't like that idea of it's like what you're talking about is win one for the get, like he owes them something.
He definitely
He does.
Are you
How do you mean?
If Tony pays me $40 million, you're fucking right. I owe them something.
Tony, all right, let's talk about something.
Like, are you kidding me?
If he's got one of the best offensive lines in the league, does that help him?
He doesn't have one of the best offensive lines.
does.
Oh, no way.
Yes, he does.
I don't believe that.
They have one of they traded
They didn't even run the ball for 8 yards with Dawkins in this best game at Huntley.
You thought
tell
Bozeman
me,
was really
tell
good
me
this year,
that
right?
they're the best team.
Tony,
tell me when. Look up the stats. I promise you, they are not good.
Tony, you looked at. All right, let's take a look at this. Right, you thought Bozeman was a really good player for us this year, right?
I thought yes.
He was with the Ravens last year.
Line. Sixth best.
He was with the Ravens last year, and they upgraded the center position from him. Okay. So yeah, they have a good offensive line. So my argument goes, okay, so he's got a good offensive line. All right. So does he not owe it to those guys to be there when they've put their ass on the line? They've made sure he's been protected all year for the most part.
Didn't they trade for a wide receiver for him this year too?
No, they traded away a wide receiver.
I just don't know if like saying this is that him like that puts so much. No wonder he should get that money then. If you're saying that he
100%
owes these guys so much, the whole fucking team, that I'm done. Look, you would have to pay Lamar. That's it.
He needs to be paid, and I agree with that.
I agree.
But if he in fact held himself out, if he in fact held himself out during the freaking playoffs, Tony, this is not
when they're not a team
that
that
come around.
No, wait, held yourself out. You say that makes it like he is healthy.
We don't.
There's
know
a difference between. There's a difference between pushing it to the limit because you're in the moment. You know what I'm saying? And you're like, oh man, that dude just sprained his knee, but he's still doing it. There's a difference between that and asking him to go out there in a losing cause.
You mean the difference between a guy who wants to
losing
win and the
calls.
difference between a guy who wants to get paid? Yeah, you're right. There is a difference.
Wait, can I just defend?
100%,
Can I? Wait, look, even though even though I don't agree with Tony, I don't want Lamar. I wouldn't.
I do.
I know that's where
Lamar,
we disagree,
bro.
but I'm trying to defend you if you would let me. I'm trying to say that in my opinion, Lamar's perspective, if you want to say that he didn't want to injure himself, like if he knows that he's already kind of injured, but then goes out there to the Ravens in their final game, hurts himself more,
yes,
and then that way, and then now he's injured goods when the team is going to trade for him. So I can understand how Lamar in that situation might say, fuck it. The entire point that I'm trying to make is that Lamar, the player, I'm not even begrudging his decision. I'm saying that Lamar, the player, is simply not worth that based on what he has done. MVP be damned. He's
but you want to get Sean Payton?
Because then we can get a younger quarterback on a rookie deal, and he can make the best out of him. What has Lamar ever done in the playoffs? Even though amongst the guys that were drafted around the same time.
What has Justin Herbert done in the playoffs?
That's true.
He just made
absolutely right.
Yeah.
Wait. He just
Josh
made
Allen
it?
has.
He just made it?
Justin Herbert
Lamar Jackson has done more than just made it. But no
they were
offense,
also
is
drafted 2 years apart. They were drafted 2 years apart from one another.
No, but you are asking. Okay.
My only thing is this, okay? You are every single time any NFL player steps on the field, you're taking the risk of getting killed, of being maimed, of being injured. No. Every single time, okay? So if your contention for stepping on the field is how much you're going to get paid, your thought process is wrong for being a team player.
No, if you are a thoroughbred horse,
I don't care.
I don't care. Listen to this,
then prove
Greg. If you're a thoroughbred horse, you're the owner. Say we're the owner of a thoroughbred horse. Would you want to make sure that horse was fully healthy for the Preakness, Kentucky Derby, and this, and then you say this, but you know what? Go out there and run this one race for the county or the state championship right here.
If you would you want? Then go do it.
All right. I'd rather.
Here's the other part to this. Okay. Number one, I'll put this out there. I know it's slightly different. Thomas Davis played with a fucking broken arm. Let's be real about it. He was going
to the Super Bowl, and he was in the playoffs of his career.
No, you can't. So you're in the playoffs.
Chance to go to the Super Bowl dead.
This isn't a dead option. Like this wasn't a dead season. Like it wasn't like they had four. Like it wasn't like our situation.
Super Bowl,
right? He injured his arm in the conference championship, and he came back in 2 weeks after breaking his arm 2 weeks before. He did the very next game he played in the Super Bowl. He broke his arm in the very next game he broke it.
You know what else I think
that's the same? You think this is the same as what Lamar did?
It's similar, but it's not the same. You know what else we're not factoring into this discussion is that from the time Lamar got hurt, he knew he wasn't going to play another snap for Baltimore, but he led the team on.
Right,
but he led that team on into believing, he'll be back next week, or he's a game day decision, and it kept on and on and on. So I think part of the frustration is
how do you know he led the team on?
That's what it
Well, what else? What would he just say? I'm going on IR.
About his the entire team says he's an athlete now.
Do you think he would have gone? He should have gone to IR.
The team, John Harbaugh included, kept on coming out, and they were saying that he'll be ready to go by next week. Like they were always predicting that Lamar would be back sooner, which leads me to believe that the team
him, though.
But hold on, that the team doctors were telling the coaches that the timetable for Lamar's comeback, it shouldn't be that long. Then it comes time to game day or whatever, a couple of days before, and Lamar's like, "Well, I'm still not playing well. I'm still hurt. I'm not physically up to snuff." And what are they supposed to do? Not take him at his word? Like they're not going to play him if he's saying, "Hey, I'm not healthy enough to play."
That's
So
my point.
he
He should do that.
Let me ask you this.
A bigger
contract. All right. Let's talk about this. Let's actually, Tony, let's think about the Panthers. We have been playing all year. We have been rooting for this team. We made it into the playoffs, right? And this happened. And Lamar Jackson was on our team and he decided not to play. How would you feel about that as a fan? Right now, we're on him on our team. So you're kind of creating this. Imagine that this was Cam Newton and he had gotten hurt, but he was like not super hurt, but it was like it was a lingering injury.
I would
right?
say one thing.
What would you say?
One thing. If we would have just fucking negotiated his contract before this season, we would not be.
They tried, Tony. Did you remember how much they offered him?
Tried.
They offered him a shit ton of money.
You either get it done or you don't get it done.
But you can't. No, Tony. You're moving the goalpost again.
You're really just assuming that he has been irately ignorant in this matter.
Well, no,
and I actually think this is Lamar. Yeah, let's look at the guaranteed money of what they offered him.
A decent number.
Somebody actually find it because we offered a lot of people. Yeah, I think this is just too. You guys are a little too willingly to be sucked into. Oh, do it for the team and what the NFL we offered this dude a lot of money. Like he should be grateful.
No, I'm fine with him holding out. I have no problem with him holding out. No, but you do not do it for the fucking playoffs.
Right. No, listen. The Ravens offered Jackson an extension worth $250 million with $133 million guaranteed.
133 guaranteed.
That would have run through that would have run from 2000. It would have run through 2027.
What did Kyler Murray get? What did Kyler Murray get? How much guaranteed money? How much did guaranteed money did Kyler Murray get? And if it's more than that,
that's fine. That is fine. But you also have to acknowledge the Ravens came to the table to negotiate. So your argument that then you shouldn't have let him get to the offseason is not. It's not a valid point. If here's the thing, or is he under contract right now or not, Tony?
But they should have just paid it then.
Is he under contract right now or not?
So
Murray is 100.
Players should be able to hold the franchises hostage.
Kyler Murray is 189 million guaranteed.
Yeah. So
that's a lot more.
That's what you're saying, Tony, is that the players should be able to hold the franchises hostage for whatever they want to get paid, and if they don't, they're not
when they can, they should. Because guess what? The franchises usually do to players: hold them hostage. That's what they usually do. They do that. You think that? How do you think they? How do you think you feel like if you're a mid-level?
Sorry, if you're the owner of the team.
That's right.
The owner of the team, you have more power than any player on the team.
Not if you're the starest of star quarterbacks, baby. It's the one golden position that can fucking pull their, out in front of the owner.
Let's flip the script. We would say that the Ravens are probably a more successful franchise than the Cardinals and the Browns, right?
Yeah, I would.
So would you say that the way that if they're saying that they don't want to do this ridiculously guaranteed contract, that maybe they're onto something?
Oh, no, I don't know because, no, I don't believe it's that simple. One is that there's all that craziness about all those teams moving in the night. So I don't know. I think all these teams have some probably shady history beside them. So let's not act like one is, but
no, I'm not saying that.
I would say this is that I think that one thing we forget when it comes to the guaranteed money is one of the reasons the owners are fighting this so much is because when you pay whatever money you guarantee, the entire guaranteed money on your team's contract, you have to have in an escrow account. So if they guarantee a quarterback $250 million, and then they guarantee a linebacker $30 million, and they guarantee this, you add all that up, and they got to be able to put that cash money into an escrow account.
Right.
So the reason the owners are fighting 100% guaranteed contracts has nothing to do about the risk in the player, but the amount of money that they have to allocate, liquidity that they have to allocate in the meantime. Right.
Sure.
And on the other hand, though, is that fuck it, man. We are one of the few teams that has an owner that actually has that money that could put it in an escrow account, A, and B, Look, he deserves way more money. He's better than Kyler Murray, bro.
I agree.
And it's just a way. If that's what it takes, then fucking pay it. And you know what? I'd rather have this. All I would say is this. I would rather have Lamar Jackson for no picks and all that money than I would have Deshaun Watson for any of those picks and all that money. I like straight up. Give me Lamar.
Tony,
and he's the one player in the one position that might be pulling it out in front of him and saying this. Because are you trying to tell me a team you were willing to sell your soul for Sean Payton, for this and that? You don't think a team is going to be like, you know what? We'll take Lamar next year. And the players going to be like, nah, I don't know if he gives it all up for us. Lamar, if he would have gotten that guaranteed money, he would have been playing right now, but he didn't. So he is pushing back.
But I don't blame him. I don't blame.
I think it's brilliant, actually.
My only argument is that he's not worth it. Not for the Panthers.
Disagree.
All right. So here's the one thing I'll say, and we can move on. If all of this in a vacuum, if he was holding out, I'm on board with that, right? And he has the right not to sign a contract, right? He has the right to not accept what they were offering at the beginning of the year. What I don't agree with, and many might disagree with this, what I don't agree with is the idea of holding out in the playoffs. Like, that is the most ridiculous thing I have ever seen, because some of these players might be retiring. Some of these players may never get another shot like they're getting right now. And because of one guy, if this is in fact true, I'm not willing to go ahead and just say this is 100% a Lamar. Like, he might be hurt. I don't know. Mm-hmm. But by a lot of accounts,
he is injured. It's just you're trying to ask him to.
It depends upon a couple of different things. Number one, is it an injury that majority of players play through? Okay, if it is an injury that the majority of players play through and find themselves not having any type of a relapse, then let's go ahead and let's just say that he's holding out for the purposes of holding out, right? Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, it's not just his money that's on the line. It's like, literally, if you're talking about you want to be brothers, you want to have this team come, if you want to be a leader of these men, like, sure, get your money, but at the same time, you're under contract right now. Right? It's not like he's not getting paid. He agreed to this contract that he's on right now. Like, this is an agreement. He wanted to come to the NFL. This is what he agreed to. Now, he can fight that. He can try to negotiate, and he can try to show his worth. But at the end of the day, if he is holding out, which, again, if there is something that's a bigger problem, I'm fine with that. But at the end of the day, if he is doing that, that's where I have a problem with what Lamar Jackson is. I don't want to trade for him.
My side.
I don't want to trade for him. Okay. I don't want to trade anything ridiculous. If we could get him for like a first round pick, I'm fine with that. But at the end of I'm not going to give away 3 first round picks for a guy who's coming off of an MCL sprain.
Tony, let me ask you a question, Tony. Like, say just by chance we sign Lamar. We get Lamar Jackson next year.
Oh,
okay?
I'd be so stoked,
and we sign him for 4 years for $250 million or $300 million, 300 guaranteed. All get fully guaranteed. Okay,
done. Let's do it.
Okay, 4 years later, we are 13-5. We are the number 2 seed in the NFC South, and he's playing for a and this is last year of his contract, and he decides to sit out because he wants more money. What are you gonna think?
No, you said no. 3 years.
What are you gonna think about that guy right there?
You said 3 years later. You're gonna get 5 years out of it, bro.
No. He's made $300 million guaranteed. He has a chance to make more, but he holds out your team's number 2 seed because he wants to make more money. What are you gonna think of that guy?
What's he gonna hold out for?
To make more money.
But
Because
like, he's not gonna be able to be signed by another
$4
team. He wouldn't be able to be signed by. He would not be that good of a commodity.
And he has to, and in order to, and he's holding out to make more money for us. This is a situation, and he does not do it. The exact same situation is in right now with us.
I would say this: is it worth the money he's asking? Then
exactly, and that's what we're saying right here. Is it
I would
worth
say
the money
he's worth
asking?
it. Yes. He is.
So an injury-prone, undersized quarterback is worth that money.
But by the way, everybody says, "Oh, Lamar just needs more weapons. Lamar needs more weapons." But you want to give away all of our draft picks to be able to put the weapons around him?
Right.
Like that doesn't make a fucking shred of
exactly.
sense. Like
Lamar makes
come
no
on,
sense.
it's
I would
and we
rock
already-
with Lamar, bro. If
Many of
Lamar,
them are-
how about this? I would be more excited about the Carolina Panthers next season if we had Lamar Jackson than I would be if we had Sean
every
Payton.
season. 8
But
and
the
9 every season for the next 3 seasons.
The funny thing is, a lot of the people
Yeah.
that want Lamar Jackson also want to trade for Sean Payton. So, like, we are literally going to have
Count
no
me
draft
in
picks.
too.
You're going to have we're going to have no draft picks to be able to help this team progress into a positive place.
But we have no
And
more minutes.
We're not going to have any
before we're
cap,
going-
and we're not going to have any cap room because we're going to be paying Lamar Jackson so much money.
We don't need draft picks cap room.
Nope.
We got this.
Nope, man. Sean Payton, Lamar Jackson. We don't need nobody.
Yeah, we got
Yeah,
this.
let's rock.
One player can do it all, right?
Rock. I tell you, I would buy.
Yeah, baby, let's go.
I would buy a Lamar Jackson Carolina jersey. I don't care. I promise you this is that you guys are acting him out like, oh, what would you like this? If he was a Carolina Panther in 2 months, I'd be the first motherfucker buying his jersey.
I believe you.
Yeah,
I would not be up. I wouldn't be like, oh, like if I was a Browns fan, I would not have been the first Deshaun Watson. Cody would have. Cody has got a whole sacred shrine to people with bad morals in the background. The number's 252-228-5098. Let's go to the next call.
Better passer than Lamar.
Hi, what's up, fellas?
This
is Cody.
Cody, baby.
Calling. I have a few things I want to talk about. First of all, let me get on you, Tony. I might agree with Cody. I watched the show podcast last week. Tony, Cody was right. We need Carolina as all the Panthers always do it safe, always doing something safe. They draft safe. They hire. They go after free agents. They sign free agents.
I'm the one here talking about they should be
about last week.
This was
it's time for a change, Tony. The Panthers need. I agree with Cody. They need something new,
like
fresh. They need to start swinging for the fences. Swing.
Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, I mean, I'm tired of just settling. It's time to start upgrading. So
I agree.
So that's what my gripe with you. However, Cody, time to get on you now.
Yeah, your turn, buddy.
Tony was right last week. What the hell was wrong with you, Cody, last week? Damn, you wearing your uncle golfer's polo shirt last week. You was the old man sitting on the porch.
Carl, what are you talking about?
Cody was wrong. Cody, if you talk about
he's right,
Matt Corral being such this franchise quarterback one more time, I swear.
I'm not gonna stop, Carl.
What are you? I think somebody in the chat said you was his.
I'm not stopping,
his
Carl.
agent or something. I'm starting to believe that because all I kept hearing you talk about Matt Corral. Shut shit up, Cody. He sucked. He was injury prone in college. He proved last year, his rookie year, he's injury prone. He sucked.
Damn, that was some
His college
haters
numbers
out here,
suck.
man.
He couldn't win big games. He didn't deliver in big games. And that's who you want to be a Panther franchise? Lord have mercy. And it's a nice topic about Sean Payton. I don't know if Payton coming to the Panthers. I don't know if he really want to come to the Panthers, but I mean, it'd be nice to have him. Well, that's all I got to say for now, guys.
Glad he's back in the cat calls.
I was like, you know what? He was like, CK and Greg were both looking over there like, please don't come after me next.
he
Don't come
usually
out.
does.
He got
He usually
both
comes
of us.
after.
He was coming after us, bro. He got you.
Let me tell you what, Cody. I will not tolerate your slandering of Matt Golden Corral, baby. I will not hear it. I'll hear nothing of it. Matt Corral just needs an opportunity, and he's going to ball the fuck out. And then I'm going to look like Nostradamus over here. There, being like, and I told you
Did you
so.
see he
when?
just was able to do a cardio workout? He put up a picture on Instagram or something like that.
Yeah.
He just was able to get caught.
He's on track, baby. He'll be fine.
Man, I felt like he should have been doing like on a bicycle like this, getting cardio for the last 6 months. You trying to tell me what? He just sit around watch Netflix?
Dude, if you put Matt Corral in a Sean Payton offense, like my man Maka the OG says, dude, that would be fire, boy. You hear me? Fire.
All right, let's go to the last call.
Blinded
by the light.
Fire.
It's me, C-Dog 1983. Real quick, man. I don't know what y'all be doing with these cat calls. Sometimes I'll be busy, so I'll just go ahead and call in, and I'll try to goddamn catch my cat call the following day, whatever, because I work 2 jobs and everything.
Damn.
But the last time I called it, I couldn't even find my joint. I couldn't even find it online afterwards or whatever. I could just please explain it to me, what's going on with the cat calls. And then I could donate money on the YouTube joint. You know what I'm saying? I really don't like donating the money to y'all on YouTube because they got them tax it. Yeah. So I got that cash at whoever on C3 podcast. Anytime I got them calling 2 times and everything, I'll make sure I pay for my goddamn talking.
That's not
anyways,
Tony.
Man. Real quick, man. C-Dog 1983. Whenever you come in here, make sure you got to hit the motherfucking like button. Make sure you motherfucking subscribe to this great content. These boys right here every Tuesday, every Friday, and we got a game simulation on Saturday. We got the motherfucking games on Sunday when we were playing during the year. Now, real quick, man. Ben Johnson goddamn done gave Temper the middle finger. Jim Harbaugh done gave Temper the middle finger. Temper, what you should do was just go out here and bring Wilkes back for at least 2 more years. All you people keep coming in and putting motherfucking egg on your face like motherfucking Matt Rule did with his goddamn sorry dumbass, mediocre college coaching ass, But man, just bring Steve Wilkes back, man, and get us a motherfucking OC and see what we got them could do in this draft, man. See what the fuck we got and got that Matt Corral, man. But this shit, man. Then Sean Payton, like, what the fuck? Why the fuck you even interviewing fucking Sean Payton? If you had fucking Jay Richardson wouldn't be goddamn trying to interview Sean Payton, man. He is from the fucking Aints. God damn it. He is from the fucking rival. Why the fuck you gonna hire a goddamn rival? Like, this shit don't make no fucking sense, man. Another thing is, goddamn David Temper got his fucking wife in here doing shit and handling business. Man, ain't nobody gonna take you fucking serious. Ain't no other goddamn owner right here got his fucking wife in the meetings and shit, but this dumbass motherfucker. How you got to hire Matt Rule? You're supposed to be getting better, but now you bring your wife in here. So I can't even say he get even fucking better. He even learned his fucking lesson from the fucking Matt Rule shit. But man, it is what it is, man. Shout out to hope they bring Steve Wilkes back, man. But everybody have a great night. Goddamn, everybody keep pounding whenever you come in here, hit the like button. Make sure you motherfuckers subscribe. Shout out to that G-Baby, the motherfucking GOAT. Shout out to motherfucking Panther Pickle. Shout out to the whole C3 podcast, man. Everybody have a goddamn great night. C-Dog night.
Appreciate you, C.
I love his calls.
He said, C-Dog said you got to play all of his calls, Tony. He's not finding them.
Real quick, like I do play all of them.
I thought you did too, but it's easy for me to put the blame on you because I ain't got nothing to do with the calls.
Before it goes on, can I say something that last week bothered me that I've been waiting to say? And that call reminded me of it. I want to go ahead and say that I don't know David Tepper's wife, and I'm not saying that she is not capable of doing the job that she's been put forward to do. Okay? All I'm saying is, when I first heard it, it's funny hearing you hire your wife to do this. That does not mean that she is not capable of doing this. That does not mean that she is not going to be the best head coach hiring coordinator we've seen in I don't know how long. I'm just saying it sounded funny at first. So I said that last week. It made me feel bad. I want everybody to know I don't think that she's a bad person or she can't do this. I just thought it sounded funny to hear that the same way Sea-Dog said there. So,
damn, you know what? Cam Newton got canceled for way less than that shit.
Exactly. but you can definitely get canceled for it. I just want people to know that I don't think that a woman can't do this. It's just a very precarious situation to be in for a woman. You know, it's very, very different than it
This is so overblown, though. Are you going to tell me Nicole Tepper is going to be like the final say on the biggest decisions in the Panthers?
I agree.
Organization? It's such a nothing burger.
She's just sitting. This is mean, but like, is that you would let her sit in the room, right?
No.
Like, what if he said this? Is like she's going to sit in the room, but I won't listen to whatever the fuck she says. If we're in these, like, I mean, like, what is he supposed to say?
She's in the room, but she knows not to talk.
No, I mean, I'm not even saying not that. That's not what I'm saying. Is that what's the opposite of what this is, which is like saying no, she can't even sit in the room. So I don't know. I think you're right. I don't think it's a giant deal. But can we talk about what is a giant deal? Is how much money Cody Lashley almost made on Prize Picks.
Oh, and I still.
But you had your first big win, right? You had your first big win.
I did.
Prize Picks, the C3 Panthers podcast, sponsored by Prize Picks. You can go to Prize Picks and play daily fantasy football sports, and I tell you, it's incredibly fun. And again, like we've said all season, I would play Prize Picks even if they did not sponsor the podcast. And on top, I mean, it's incredibly fun, except for I've had a tough role recently, guys, and have not been. And I want to blame a lot of it on your boy Cody. Freaking Trevor Lawrence. He won week one this week, but like I feel like this is what this game right here really, there's a couple of them. Marvin Jones Saturday against the Chargers had 29 receiving yards. His number was 29.5 receiving yards was the more or less on Prize Picks. And I got Etienne too. I got one other player that was just 1 point away. And I mean, Gesicki, here's another one that drove me nuts. He had 12 receiving yards in the first quarter, and they couldn't get the other 5 for the rest of the game. But your boy, Trevino Lawrence, who actually contributed by one single win of this week, threw 4 fucking picks in the first half. There should have been some yards for Travis Etienne. There should have been some yards for Marvin Jones Jr. There should have been some yards for Zay Jones in that first half.
So how did I get
to talk about Lamar sitting out this final game? Trevino Lawrence set out the first half and ruined all of my Prize Picks.
Hey, how about this? And no, blame your own dumbass, because Trevor Lawrence and Travis Etienne won your boy 200 big ones, okay? It's not their fault that you're out here making dumbass bets per usual. Trevor Lawrence is the man. Travis Etienne is the man, and they helped me. So what are you even talking about, bro? Trevor Lawrence dug himself out from one of the biggest holes in the history of the playoffs. Come on, dude. Put some respect on that, man. And you're damn right, Kevin. I did put this on my fridge. I'm proud as fuck.
Put it on your fridge, bro. Put it on your fridge. And if you want to get a ticket like that, you need to go to Prize Picks and use the promo code C3. If you use the promo code C3, you get a 100% deposit bonus on your first time up to $100. So if you are a first-time depositor and you put $100 up there, they will match you with $100 promotional funds that you can then use and play. And they have great games, great opportunities, we say, from Flex Friday, Taco Tuesday to these different things. But the Torture Trevor Lawrence would be my name. Is this guy, Cody, has been a prize failure all year when it comes to any statistics. He's the most regular. Boy, this guy, that man, the prize pick number would be like 222. And you're like, oh, Trevor Lawrence. Cody told me he was the next Dan Marino. He could get this. And then guess who comes out and tiptoes out there? Trevina Lawrence for 180 yards. And somehow they get 30 points. And he's not involved in any of it. He's the...
What do you expect me to say to you right now?
4 picks.
So what? He's a winning quarterback.
That was crazy.
He's a winning quarterback in the playoffs in his second year, his first year under his new head coach.
What did you think about that game? And then I'll ask you about one. So don't forget, Prize Picks, promo code C3. Let's quickly talk about a... actually, you know what? I'm going to make a quick prize picks. Hey, let's see what Trevina Lawrence is doing. Will he be Trevor Lawrence or Trevina Lawrence? 245 yards or more, 245.5. Would you go more or less on Trevor Lawrence or less for Trevina? Patrick Mahomes, number 315. They are ready for him to. That's a high number. I think I would go less.
Same. What's the passing touchdowns?
We don't have that yet. Too early in the week.
Oh, do the previous performances for Trevor.
They're like 180, 180, 180. Look at this. His bet
seems pretty consistent to me.
Consistently bad.
No, it's not bad. What the fuck are you talking about, dude?
He had he's had 2 good games this year.
He brought his team back from the depths to win a playoff.
245 is an incredibly high number. I'm not.
I would put it. I would do over. I mean, they're gonna have to pass the ball.
Do it. That's what I say every week.
They're gonna be up a lot.
That's what I say every week.
The Chiefs can put up a ton of points. Jacksonville's gonna have to throw the ball. Yeah, that's a good number for Trevor.
Do
you disagree?
That's what I say every week. Every week, Cody. And every week I think he's going to be Trevor Lawrence. And he turns out to be Trevina.
All right, so then pick less.
You know what? I'm going. No, I understand.
No, pick less. Go with your heart.
Saturday game. It's a Saturday. And this my boy always says is
what does your heart tell you?
To stay away from Trevina.
No, if you had to pick that number,
I like
more or less.
But I don't even know if I want to go. 315 is a giant number.
Yeah.
CK, what do you see up here on this board? Like, I'd feel more comfortable with this right here. More on Josh Allen.
What's the Brock Purdy's?
220 against Dallas.
Oh, that's tough.
I'm going to say more.
God, I don't want to fuck with that one either.
How about this? I feel more confident about that Trevor. I feel more confident about that Trevor Lawrence passing stat than any of the other ones for those quarterbacks.
I feel good about this. I feel good about this.
More for both?
Yep. And then we're gonna go big. We're gonna go big. Let's see if we can get. Don't feel great. Devontae. Who are we gonna get? What's Stephon? 82. I don't feel bad about that, and I don't feel bad about the CD Lamb number either.
Lamb has been up and down. They do not.
This is a good number.
Dude,
54
Lamb,
yards
they do not
for Ayuk.
target Lamb in that offense.
Oh, look at this. Debo and Ayuk are
Whoa. How
one.
did you feel?
55 for
Why
Debo
are
is
you
not
so
bad.
confident about Brandon Ayuk? They have so many different players that they're going to feed the ball to.
Two catches for him. They're going to run the ball a lot,
Debo
stretch
Samuel.
it.
Yeah, I'd take
No.
Debo with one more yard than I would Ayuk.
I
If
don't
it was
mind
like 30
this.
yards difference, it'd be different, but it's 1 yard difference between Ayuk and.
Oh, what about this? Jamar Chase. I will mess with that. I'll mess with Jamar. Who they got on the outside that's going to deal with it?
Well, the problem
like this too, right here.
Okay.
That's my
they're
play
reeling
right
a little bit in the secondary too, still over in Buffalo. So
Allen 270.5, Christian McCaffrey 68.5 versus Dallas. So we're worried a little bit about Dallas's defense.
Tony, your son is saying AJ Brown or Kirk on the wide receiver yards. Yeah, they've been throwing the ball to AJ Brown a lot in that Philadelphia.
Oh, like that too. We're going to flex then.
How many picks are you doing? 4?
We're gonna do
5.
Yeah, we're gonna do the 5. Try to hit the $5.
Nice.
You know what? We're good.
Do a big one. What are you talking about?
All right.
Do 20. I dare you to do 20. All right, yeah, 25.
Bam, there it is.
There we go.
Oh,
Prize
shit.
picks. Promo code C3. You get 100%. Look, and again, we would play this regardless. And speaking of kind of playing that in the playoffs, can we talk briefly about what do we got left? I think we got the playoffs, and that's it. Is playoffs and a couple of other scenarios I wanted to talk about in the
Well, hold on. We didn't talk about one of the biggest news of the night. We don't have to spend too long. Ben Johnson is giving the Carolina Panthers the axe. He has been one of the more highly regarded coaches that the Panthers have been interested in. He was set to meet with us, but Ben Johnson is returning to the Detroit Lions to be their coordinator for another year. Did you make anything of this? Did he just? Is this more about the Panthers or more about he wants to be a part of the Lions?
Well, this isn't just about the Panthers. It's everybody. He's informed of this. So I don't think this is a Panthers issue. I think this is just maybe he feels like the job isn't done.
So, CK, what you're saying is he's in the mindset of what you and I have felt like all the players should have been. Is
potentially
you're playing for a job, play for the team. Okay, just making sure. He sounds like my kind of guy.
Stop, you guys, with this whole
I'm
heart.
just telling you, man. I want a guy.
Heart over your head. You know why he's
team, not for the
staying
money.
right now is because Aaron Rodgers is about to get out of get out of Green Bay.
Sure.
Kirk Cousins and the Minnesota Vikings. That's all they had. And the Bears are a mess. And the Lions are surging right now. That's what he's thinking.
If in 5 years we have had a quarterback that has been a franchise guy on his rookie contract for the last 4 or whatever, and we have to pay a guy and he leaves because we won't pay him, I want to see what you have to say then.
I can't wait.
That's all. I can't wait either.
I think I did that by accident.
Yeah.
I can't wait. I can't wait for that moment. Let's go to the next. I think there's a call here. My son said he called. Maybe I missed it.
What's up, C3? This is Tom Daddy.
Tyler.
All this speculation is great about Lamar, who's be the next coach. But, man, we got to connect the dots. Brady and Peyton tried this last year in Miami. Didn't work out. This year, we need a coach. We need a quarterback. You can't tell me Tepper ain't going to make this happen. That's going to make that man so much money. I'm not saying I don't like it, but I think this is what's going to happen. Tell me your thoughts.
I got it, son. Here we go. Here is.
Hey, this is White Chocolate Espresso.
Bastard son.
Can some Panther fans do me a favor and stop sucking Sean Payton's cock? Like, just stop sucking that little 3-inch dick for a second and realize what you're asking this franchise to do. trade a first-round pick to get a coach. You know how pathetic that is? You know how sad that is? You can't pick a coach, so you have to trade for one? That is sad. So you can go to the playoffs? That is fucking pathetic. And trading for a guy who had full roster control, left that situation because he fucked it up.
Yes.
He fucked it up.
Yes.
Left. Said, I can't do it. Ooh, Drew Brees is gone. And Jameis Winston, and it ain't working out. And Taysom Hill, who I signed to a big-ass deal, he's starting to suck. Whoops. I fucked up. So I'm going to go off, take a year off, and then come back and get me another job so I can fuck that team over too. It's unbelievable. Y'all want to give away a top 10 pick for Sean Payton.
Not y'all.
It's fucking ridiculous. You should be ashamed of yourselves. Every single one of you who wants Sean Payton give up a first-round pick, you should feel ashamed that this is your franchise. Absolutely ridiculous. You can't pick a coach. You can't decide. There's plenty of good coaches out there. There's plenty of them. Pick one without having to give up a fucking top 10 pick or even a future first-round pick. That's sad. That is so fucking sad. I don't even know what to say right now. Is this the state of the Panthers right now? We have to trade for coaches because we can't pick one. We're trading for one. Oh, Matt Rule, he paid Teddy Bridgewater. He wanted Teddy Bridgewater. He's a bad head coach. Sean Payton wanted Taysom Hill. Signed him to a big-ass contract. Signed Winston. Couldn't do shit with him. Last year was 9-8. Steve Wilkes was 6-6.
Yep.
With fucking couldn't Baker Mayfield, trading away Chris McCaffrey, with 6-6. So you know what? Fuck it. Y'all want to do what y'all want to do. Y'all want to keep sucking off fucking Sean Payton? Just go ahead. Deep throat that fucking dick. Bye.
Hey,
Dude, I've never heard him this mad or aggressive.
He's pretty mad, yeah.
In any of his cat calls ever before as Sean Payton. Damn, take a breath, Kev.
Son.
Kev, I'm with you, man. I'm not with Sean Payton. I'm not quite as passionate about being against Sean Payton as you are, but I am quite passionate about not having him be my head coach. So
angry.
Yeah, like guys, I'm telling you, like I it's so funny because I always argue with Cody about like the difference in coaching and playing, like I said earlier. And I feel like Sean Payton is an upgrade from the coaching we've had. I love Steve Wilkes, and I feel like Steve Wilkes should get the job. But Sean Payton does have more success than him. Okay. So based on that, it's kind of an upgrade. However, I'm taking Steve Wilkes all day. Like I'm not giving up the compensation for Payton. I'm not taking the chance on Payton. I know what I have. I don't have to pay for it or pay big time for it. I'm taking Steve Wilkes, man. Like it's a no-brainer for me. You know?
Son.
Go write a blog about it. Browner played well. These guys played hard. You know.
Go write a blog about it.
That's Sean Payton, by the way.
I'll call it the C3
That's Sean
blog.
Payton. Look, this is Sean Payton.
Go write a blog about it. Browner played well. These guys played hard.
Go write
There
a
you go,
blog
son.
about it.
Go write a
I'm
blog.
5'7", and I guarantee I could kick Sean Payton's ass. Come on now.
How many calls do we have left? How many calls do we have left?
One.
So then let's knock it out. Then we'll finish with the playoffs.
All right.
Rush it.
53 is JJ. I noticed Tony is always saying when y'all do prize picks, man, I thought this last time and this and that. And you guys always talk about how you got one wrong. And it's like, I'm going to change it up because last time I did this. Man, the great Jermaine Cole, J. Cole, once said, even if you get it wrong 10 times in a row and you quit, that 11th time could have been the one. So you just gotta keep going with what you trust and what you believe. And I also mentioned some names in my other call.
Lawrence is what
Obviously,
he
I hope nobody took it personal. You know, I'm just giving people shit. I love the podcast, and I can't wait for Friday Free Fall because I will indeed be criticizing the quarterback opinions. But no, I mean, it's all love at the end of the day because we all want the Panthers to win and become that great franchise. But yeah.
Appreciate you, JJ. Yeah, man.
Thank you, bro.
That's a nice little plug for the Friday free for all, man. You think that I'm wrong, that we're wrong? Come on the show on Friday. Every Friday at 7 p.m. The show for Panther fans and by Panther fans.
All right, let's go. What happened this past week? And we've been talking about the Jaguars coming back. Wow. 4 picks in the first half, come back and are able to beat the Chargers. And the Chargers are going to charge. And I think this not crazily, but I almost feel like Justin Herbert has like zero culpability in this loss.
No.
Or very little culpability in comparison.
Little, but not zero. Yeah.
I don't think that I think the Chargers also got screwed on that Bosa. I mean, not screwed, but that was a game-changing moment. So we all have these. I think actually what I would just try to say is this, is I don't lose any faith in Herbert. I wouldn't be surprised. They already fired their offensive coordinator. I wouldn't be surprised if they just fire their coach.
How about this? We're talking about Sean Payton. I think if they do fire their head coach, I think the Chargers job is where he wants to go. And why wouldn't you?
Best city in America, right?
Yeah, why wouldn't you want to go and have Justin Herbert be the guy that you're calling plays for? It's a no-brainer. If I'm Sean Payton, that's what I would want to happen. I do think ultimately they are going to move on from Brandon Staley. Remember how much I used to like that dude?
I love him. Dude, me even more. And you know what? I'm not entirely away from it, but there's just a patience factor. Cody, do the Jags have a chance going into Kansas City?
Yeah, they have a chance. They definitely have a chance. Whenever you have a franchise quarterback, you have a chance. And you know what, dude? Shout out to and you just did that to ECU alum Zay Jones, who's playing his best football that he's played in his entire career. Evan Ingram, the former tight end from the Giants, is down there. He's playing damn good ball. Christian Kirk, over 1,000 yards this year, playing his best football. It's almost like when you have a franchise quarterback, they're possible in your offense. That's what it is, man. I do think they have a chance. They do face an uphill battle. Even though I want them to win, I'm probably gonna predict Kansas City here. And by the way, no chill Gill. $20 love bomb out of nowhere, man. We appreciate that so much. Thanks, man.
Can I say that, I want to go ahead and put out there that I was totally trolling Cody and against Trevor Lawrence at the beginning of the season, right? And actually throughout.
Don't worry, Trevina ain't done shit all season.
No, well, but the last few weeks, he's looked really good.
Very good.
And I'm not going to lie. I would like to have a
really good. He threw 4.
You're right. No, Tony, you're right. He
looks so great. So great.
2 of those weren't his fault.
You drove home from the accident. Fantastic.
And you know what happened, Tony? He came back and won that game. Okay? That, to me, is an NFL quarterback. He threw 4 picks, and at no point in time during that game did I look at him and think he was rattled. That guy.
Oh, you don't think he was a little shook? He was
not at all.
Shook right in the first
you
half.
threw 4 picks in your first playoff game.
He was not just. You're trying to act like he was not mentally shook a little.
Down 27-0, and you came back and won. No, he wasn't mentally shook.
You don't think there was any mental adversity?
He made look like a member of Hanson. He may look like a member of Hanson, but he is not. He is an elite quarterback. I will give him that.
I don't think the Hanson brothers would have been nervous. They're the ones that go on stage in front of a bunch of people. What I'm trying to say is, you don't think it got in his head a little bit after that third
Maybe,
pick?
but he overcame it. If it did,
when's the last time we had a
he
quarterback that
overcame it.
overcame three interceptions, much less 4?
Yeah,
everyone we got.
Yeah. Well, Tony, I know
They
this is
overcome it,
another.
is what I'm saying.
Tony, I know this is another segment, but we're talking about Coach of the Year candidates. Well, you're like, okay, he threw 4 interceptions. Why didn't he get flustered? Why didn't he get down on himself?
Best
and
coach.
how do you not give a ton of credit to Doug Peterson? Doug Peterson, here we are talking about coaches that have won the Super Bowl before. Peterson did it with Carson Wentz and Nick Foles, for God's sakes. And now Trevor Lawrence is finally starting to look like the number 1 overall pick in the draft. I just don't think that you can devalue that.
Let's blend this discussion. We're going to blend both of them together. Playoff discussion and Coach of the Year. We just talked about the Jags going to Kansas City, an incredible mountain to overcome in just what is Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes, right? It's like, so regardless if you are me who hates Trevina Lawrence and loves Doug Peterson, that is like an insurmountable task. And anyway, I mean, I know it's possible, but then you go across to the NFC, and the New York Giants made it out of the first round, the wild card round, beat the Vikings, and now we're heading to the Eagles. And I think that right now, these 2 games, both of them in some ways have similarly long odds. The Jags, long odds in Kansas City. New York, a long odds with the Eagles. Is Daboll, though, the Coach of the Year, or is it Peterson?
Peterson.
Wow. That quick?
Oh, it's close. Those are the top 2.
I think it's
so.
Daboll.
Number 1, the
Peterson
Jaguars. The Jaguars won their division.
I love how you say the Jaguars.
Jaguars. They won their division. The Giants came in 3rd place in their division. Regardless of
but
schedule,
by the way, the Eagles were 13-4. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't be like, of course they didn't win their division.
But
the Jags won their division 9-7. The Giants had a better record.
My argument is, when you're looking at what people are voting for, they're looking at titles. Doug Peterson is way more decorated of a coach than Daboll already is, right? And on top of that, now you can say wild card playoff or AFC South champions. Like, I mean, that looks a lot better from a voting perspective for many people. And when you look at what the Giants have done, you can be impressed that they beat the Minnesota Vikings, but they haven't looked impressive. Like, when they
do they vote on it, CK? Do you know when they vote? Do they count the postseason for?
I don't think so.
Coach?
No, they don't count.
I don't think so.
Vote
they don't do it. I know they. I don't think they do it for players. Dang.
Yeah, I think they've already
because
voted.
They
Think
vote
about
before the
this: is
postseason,
would you, if who needs to win, or who has a better chance of winning this week? So if the Giants go, do the Giants have a better chance of upsetting the Eagles, or the Jags have a better chance of upsetting the Chiefs?
I think the Jags have a better chance of upsetting the Chiefs.
No, really?
Dude, have you seen the Eagles, bro?
Wow.
Like the Eagles.
I don't want to interrupt.
I'm wild.
I don't want to interrupt the flow of the conversation, but I just love this comment. CK, Greg, and White Chocolate Espresso are wrong about Sean Payton, but hey, bros don't always agree. Love you guys. Keep pounding. Shout out, Tyler, man. Appreciate you, brother.
Nice, I appreciate
So
you.
you're saying Sean Payton's going to make us a Super Bowl contender? Okay, cool. With who? Yeah, exactly.
For the support.
Wait till I get my soundboard.
Really? All right. So, okay, interesting. So, just quickly, we'll talk about the New York Giants and the Eagles. The Minnesota Vikings, Kirk Cousins. And you know what? I don't want to just blame it all on Kirk Cousins, because the Vikings defense couldn't stop anything against the Giants. But it does suck when it's 4th and 8 and you throw 3 yards. and the Giants smoked the Vikings. So the Giants oddly are playing with house money and going into Philadelphia. Is there any chance? So you don't think, CK, there's a chance the Giants walk out with this one?
Oh, there's always a chance. I'm not going to say there's not a chance.
You feel
I'm just
good
saying
about the Eagles.
Your question was mainly about who I think has a better shot of winning, and I think the Jags have a better shot than the Giants do. It's not a big difference, but I think
I got you.
Yeah.
Let's go next to the team that upset Tom Brady last night. And Tom Brady threw the ball. He's 45 years old. I think now the new mission when you have Tom Brady as your quarterback is you have to throw more passes than his age to make him feel better.
Right.
So he's like, I'm sorry, I can't be on a running team. That makes me feel old. I need to feel young. So I need to be on a team that throws the ball 67 fucking times. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers loss was glorious. And I don't even have a problem with cheering for the Cowboys against what was going on in Tampa Bay. But the Cowboys are facing the San Francisco 49ers. They won their first game on the road, their first playoff victory on the road in like 30 years, the Cowboys. But the San Francisco 49ers have been hot to trot with the most irrelevant and relevant, purtiest man on earth. And Christian McCaffrey doing everything. Cowboys, McCarthy, I'm not feeling it, bro.
I think the 49ers are going to be the team representing the Super Bowl in the NFC, or representing the NFC in the Super Bowl. And I think they're probably Vegas favorites now. Like, they're doing everything at a high pace. And, dude, credit to Shanahan and the San Francisco 49ers, because I feel like the past 3 years in a row, the same thing happens to them. They go through a lot of bumps and bruises in the middle of the season. And then once it hits that November, December time, dude, they start kicking your ass, dude. And they do it in an old school kind of way. You know, they have so many different weapons. They're not necessarily
they do whatever they want, bro. They do whatever they want. You want to run it, they want to throw it. They do whatever they want.
And they have the best set of offensive weapons in the entire NFL, man. Christian McCaffrey, Deebo Samuel, George Kittle, Brandon.
George Kittle's like the least talented player on their team right now. Isn't that wild?
Maybe the most. What are you talking about?
No, what I'm saying is like everybody else around him is just as good and producing more. Imagine being as that elite of a player and you just being like a regular dude.
Dude, he might be one of my favorite. You know how we talk about like Cam Jordan?
Like,
no, but dude, you know how we talk about Cam Jordan, even though he's the same?
Yeah.
It's like kind of hard not to. George Kittle, dude, it's fucking impossible to dislike that dude.
Tell us about.
Love to have him on this.
Intro the next game for me, real quick.
We didn't do Buffalo.
That's right.
Yet, did we?
Here, start the conversation. I'll be the last one.
Yeah. So this is the game. Yeah. This is the game that we were supposed to see on a Monday night, and the whole DeMar Hamlin thing happened. So this is a rematch, and man, what a game this is going to be, man. The Bengals have Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Boyd, I believe is his name, they've got up there. I mean, they've got a lot of options. But, man, Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs, they have that connection, man. And, hey, put some respect on Gabriel Davis's name. Every time they're in the playoffs, Josh Allen is throwing bombs to Gabe Davis and, you know, really spreading the ball around. This is how about this? Do you agree? Do you boys agree this is the toughest matchup left in all the playoffs? Yeah. To me, this game right here is harder to call than any of the other matchups that we.
I actually disagree with you because I feel like Jacksonville has every shot to beat Cincinnati or Kansas City. And I feel like Dallas, if they play the game they are willing to play or are able to play, can beat San Fran any day of the week. However, I feel like San Fran is a better team, and I feel like Kansas City is a better team. So,
what's that got to do with the Bengals and the Bills, though?
He said his question was, "Is this the most the easy or the hardest one to call?"
Yeah, I don't think it's the hardest one to call because I think the other two.
Well, then who's winning it?
Are very, very close. Yeah,
I will very narrowly. Very
you
narrowly.
You can pick anything, Greg. Who are you picking?
Are going to pull it off.
In this game, I'm picking the Bengals.
Confidently.
Mm-hmm.
Easiest
so
game to pick out of
all.
But
hold on. Now, Greg, they do have like 3 offensive linemen that are hurt. Does that factor into your prediction?
Don't care.
They have
they don't have Von
God
Miller.
factor on their side.
Yeah.
You said the Bills? You said the Bengals or the Bills?
Bengals.
Bengals.
Mm-hmm.
CK, what are you doing?
On the Bengals and the Bills?
Yeah.
Coin flip, right? This is a coin flip game.
I'll be honest with you. The Bills have
I agree.
The Bills have looked bad the past few. I mean, they've won, but they have not won convincingly, even against Miami. That was
and Allen. They got fucking smoked kind of by Miami
with their first string quarterback as well. Like that's what I'm concerned about. Is it did not feel like. I mean, Josh Allen was throwing interceptions. It's so hard for me to predict this. I gotta go with the Bengals. I want the Bills to win it, but I feel like the Bengals are gonna pull this out.
I'm rocking with you, bro. I'm going Bengals repeat.
I'm the
Super
only
Bowl
one
champions.
taking the Bills. All right,
you're taking the Bills. All right,
I'm taking the Bills. I think the Bills are gonna do it.
If you're asking who I want to win, it's the Bills.
Who's a better quarterback, Burrow or Allen?
Oh, that's an unfair question.
Yeah, I think they're two separate types.
Who would you rather have?
Yeah.
I would rather.
If I had to,
who would you rather have?
Picking Josh Allen.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna pick Josh Allen too.
Josh Allen reminds me more of Cam Newton than Joe Burrow.
Have you not seen Joe Burrow walk into the fucking stadium?
Well, that's not what he's meaning. He's
talking doesn't matter, dude. Josh Allen can run. Josh Allen. I hear you though. That was a good comment. But no, Josh Allen. Just narrowly.
Isn't that great? What a gluttony of riches to choose between the two.
Dude, look at
I mean, I would just say I understand. I probably wouldn't disagree with you guys. I probably would pick Allen because of the rocket arm, the build, and this and that. But Burrow has been more successful than he has been.
So who are you taking?
You know what? I'm taking the Bengals, and I'm going to be the only person that I would pick Joe Burrow over Josh Allen as my quarterback.
Three of the four of us say Burrow over Allen.
I said I meant the only person taking Burrow over Josh Allen, I guess. Gosh. Oh, all right. So those are all the games. What else we got? That's it.
No, that's not it. That's not all the games. There's not one game.
We didn't do
not one game.
We did. I thought we did Bengals, Bills. We did the Cowboys, 49ers.
We did nothing else.
We did the Jags and we did all of them.
Sure didn't. Did we?
Well, we talked a little bit about Kansas City, but we didn't. Did we pick it?
Well, let's do it now. Jags, Kansas City. Cody.
Who in here is picking the Jags?
I am.
You better be Greg.
I am.
No, I thought we already talked about all these games.
Jags.
The Jags, Kansas City all day.
I am on the Trevor Lawrence train. I'm picking the Jags.
Okay. You know what? Fuck it. There's no way I'm letting Greg be the only one picking Trevor. I'm going Jaguars, baby. Let's fucking go.
Look, they're even starting to say it like you, CK. You might as well say it too and do it. They're even starting to say Jaguars.
Jaguars. How did you say it?
You're going.
How did you say it?
Jaguars.
It's so hard.
No, it's not Jaguars.
He says Jaguars.
I'm going.
Jags?
I'm going Chiefs.
Jaguar. He said.
It's Jaguars, man.
It's not Jaguars. It's not Jagwires.
That's how it's pronounced.
Goodness.
It's Jaguars.
Jaguars.
Are you going Jags or KC?
Fuck the Jaguars.
Jaguar.
I'm going with the Kansas
You're
City
going KC,
Chiefs.
Okay. All right. Cody, who you got for
You're
Dallas
fucking
San Fran?
stupid. I'm going San Fran. San Fran, I think, is the best team.
I'm going San Fran too. Okay.
Now, I don't remember picking Giants in Philadelphia.
We haven't yet. We're getting there. Don't worry. We're getting there.
Okay.
That's the
All right.
easiest pick. So, CK, who do you got? Who do you got? San Fran, Dallas.
We've already done all of this.
Dallas.
Okay. And Tony?
San Francisco.
Okay. All right. And then the last pick.
Cody
Giants,
calls
Philly.
it Jack Lawrence. Oh my gosh. Oh my god. Oh,
And then,
He's
if
my
you're
son.
if you're
How
British,
can I
like,
deny this, man?
Tony, did you say it like Jaguar? You said
What?
Jaguar.
Jaguar.
You put too much emphasis on the U.
We're in
You
America
say
right now. You sound like a
Jaguars.
redcoat.
Yeah, dude. I mean, come on. Are you fucking-
Jaguars.
whose
You say
side are you
Jaguar.
on?
Say it. All right. Okay. Well, just listen.
Jaguars.
Just listen to how
Jaguars.
CK says it in the future. He always says Jaguars.
All right.
No, he
So we
says
got all
the-
the picks,
no, he
right?
doesn't
'Cause
say
we're all picking
Jaguars
Philly.
wrong.
Can't say it now because you're thinking about it. All right. We've
Jaguars.
already picked all these games. Who else? Eagles.
We're all picking Philly, right?
I do think New York could fucking pull this out.
No,
I
they're gonna
think
pick
New
'em?
York has a better chance to upset the Eagles than the Jags have a chance to upset the Chiefs. The Chiefs, as you guys pronounce
The
it.
Chiefs. I think
Dude,
you're wrong.
I want to pick the Giants, but I can't bring myself to do it.
Yeah.
They're the
It's Eagles.
like he
man.
really did play.
Eagles,
well.
Cowboys, and the championship game. That's all there is to it.
I'm gonna pick Philly.
CK?
Yeah, Philly. It's
I'm with Philly too.
not hard.
Yeah. I mean,
Okay.
the Giants, though, are interesting. We probably should be cheering for the Giants.
We should be. And I am.
Because they pulled out of the same fucking funk we were in. They hired Joe Judge the same year we hired Matt Rule. And now they're resetting back. You know what I'm saying? They're in the playoffs and won a playoff game. If we would have been where they are right now, we would have called success story. So we want to be them, ironically. That's all I got about that.
The quad monster.
Are we done?
Balling out.
I think we are, man. I think we're at that.
Can we go home?
We have
Oh,
nothing
wait.
left.
I am home.
Well, we have one segment left.
What is it?
Yeah.
The ice up picks?
Ice
Got
up picks,
that.
baby.
Got
Oh,
that.
I forgot.
You forgot? You did forget?
I forgot that we had Ice Up picks, but I forgot that I have a really good one
Good.
in store.
Good. You're listening to the C3 Panthers podcast, where every Tuesday night into Wednesday morning, we chop up the latest Panthers news and opinions from the fan perspective. We'll be back here. Look, maybe I'm going to I've been working on a beat check with Josh Klein. Hopefully we can get it to happen tomorrow night, Wednesday, Friday, free for all, guys. It's popping, man. They got a great conversation out there. And I'm trying to land. What we got to do is we need to start landing some old players, ex-players on this podcast and interviews. Help us do that by subscribing to the show, smashing the thumbs up button, and being part of the conversation, showing these players and these people that we're trying to land on these interviews that this community, where they need to be at, where they need to be talking with us about. Now let's go to the longest running segment on the longest running Panthers podcast. Think about that. We were talking about this. We were talking about philosophy earlier. This is an a priori truth, as the philosophers would say. Longest running segment on the longest running Panthers podcast. Logically true. Let's go into the ice up picks, Cody. Where we tell someone to ice up, toughen up to get it together.
Yeah. Tony, before we start, real quick, how did you say Trevor Lawrence's name?
Trevor
up, son. Ice up.
I didn't hear anything.
You're abusing that power.
No,
you're
Tony abuses his
you're
soundboard
abusing that
power. What do
power.
you mean?
It's called Trevina
All right,
Lawrence.
who wants to go first?
That's how you pronounce his name. Her name.
Not
Trevina.
Who wants to go?
Who's
Someone
the
go
first ice up?
first. Come on. Ice up pick this week. Don't make Cody do. Greg, get in there.
Let me
You're
get
a
out of the way.
postal
Yeah,
worker.
seriously.
Come on.
Mine's personal. So let me get out of the way.
Yes.
I'm going to ice up what's the name of the Mad Dog tire sales. Okay. So I bought a truck about 6 months
Right
ago.
away, we got questions on why you went
Yeah.
to Mad Dog Tire Sales.
I bought a
Greg,
truck 6 months ago.
Shoulda
okay?
go-
And it was, for what I understood, a good truck. I put down $2,300 today to fix my truck 6 months later. Okay. And the guys who fixed my truck told me that the people who sold you this truck put brand new brakes on the truck to hide the fact the calipers all around were bad. And the calipers all around means the master cylinder is bad. Okay. So I had to pay $2,200 to fix my truck today. However, it still means that I paid less than $10,000 for a truck, which is good. But I will say to all sellers who want to hide things like brakes being bad or things like that you can't tell for months later, ice the fuck up. Yeah?
yeah. I mean, they put lipstick on a pig.
Sure.
That's what they did with them brakes. They put some lipstick on some broken ass calipers. So ice up.
Fix that.
Ice up.
Yeah, it's ice up.
Who's next?
What's it?
Tony, you still stalling for time, or what's?
Yeah, like a half second. Yeah.
CK, are you also stalling for time?
No, I've got
No,
one
actually,
simple, but
yeah. Go
I
ahead,
know. Let's
CK,
just go.
and I'm ready.
well, mine's gonna be I've been told for the past, I don't know, week or so, don't bet against the GOAT. You don't bet against the GOAT.
Oh gosh.
True.
And here I sit watching this Cowboys game where the Bucks come into town and they're hoping to knock the GOAT off of his pedestal, and they successfully do so. And they make Tom Brady look like garbage. Everybody was trying to use the game against the Panthers where we didn't have our two starting cornerbacks as like this pedestal. Like, this is, see, look, the Bucks are the Bucks. You don't bet against the GOAT, who still had a negative record. And they did what they've been doing all year, and they looked absolutely horrendous. So, to that, and my hopes of seeing Tom Brady hang his jersey up, put everything on the back, start moving forward in his life, focus on his family, I want to say ice up, because you kind of looked rough.
My ice up pick.
Ice up.
My ice up pick goes to the TikTok people community that need to throw everybody under the bus for their one moment of attention.
Mm-hmm.
So somehow someone's friend works at Waffle House and made them this beautiful sandwich right here. They made them a waffle sandwich with steak meat chopped up, peppers, onions. The cook was probably my buddy, probably a member. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Hook me up. Not me, this asshole who puts it all on TikTok and talks about how awesome this is and this and that. Right? So not only do you call your cook friend out there for hooking you up with your food, right? Then this is how Waffle House employees have to respond with bad grammar. So then you threw all these mugs under the bus as they wrote this sign that says order from the menu. We're not making nothing you've seen on TikTok. We're not making nothing. All I'm saying is this. We're not making anything you saw on TikTok. But what I believe is this asshole whose friend gave him a beautiful sandwich set into a series of events that threw the person under the bus making this sign right here. So to you who got that beautiful sandwich and put it on TikTok for your own benefit, you ruined all these people's lives. Ice up.
Ice up.
Freaking TikTok. So listen, I'm about to bestow a gem upon you guys. And it has music, but it's so indecipherable. And I guarantee you it's by no one famous in the world. And it's only 12 seconds. Dude, I'm more than once because there's so much wonderful things going on in this video. Dude, this made my week seeing this shit. Okay, are you ready? How about there's etiquette that you must follow when you're in a mosh pit, dude.
Oh,
now,
I saw this girl. This made me feel. This made me feel. This might. Yeah, I think this is the one.
No. So there's this one, but then there's another one I could play too. First, I'm gonna play it once.
This one, you're right.
I'm gonna play it once, and then we're gonna go through it again and show the magnificence.
I'm ready. I'm all in for this, by the way. Did he get a? Oh, this is the one. Yeah, this is the one I was thinking about.
What? First of all,
I got a lot of questions, bro.
Dude. Check out my homie at the bottom. Back kick.
The bottom left, right? The roundhouse.
Look at
this dude looked like he was doing that Brazilian, that Brazilian fight joint.
It does a back kick. But hold on. Okay, now hold on. Now,
gotta come back. He's like the best part.
Dude, look. No, dude, you missed it. Now watch the dude in the black shirt with the red behind him. Look. Oh! You saw that?
He just pumped it. Oh.
What? The guy, what? All right, so before
no. Watch the girl.
A back fist.
Watch
fist right here.
No, I know the girl gets
smashed. Watch the girl in the pink.
Yeah, I've seen her. Yeah, she got fucked up.
And he's like, "Oh, I found a hat."
Yeah,
he's so pumped about it too, dude.
Wow.
My fucking week,
dude,
bro. I watched that.
The spin kick has got to be the coolest part of that. I did not notice that until we started watching it tonight. I saw that girl get punched in the face like 7 times. I've watched it several times.
I do have one more.
Okay.
Makes me feel good.
Yeah, that was I had to share that. That brought me so much joy. Then
No, it's so great. Do you know you can watch YouTube videos together on Discord now?
Yes.
Super cool, man.
So, is this it? Yeah. The moral to this story is don't jump into a moving car. There's a baby in this car, by the way.
That's the problem.
She's tripping.
Oh,
it's a baby in that motherfucker car. Damn.
Nope.
There's a baby in that motherfucking car.
Stop lying. What is he
baby in that motherfucker car.
God, he jumped into that car like you were diving into a fishbowl, like from 20 feet up.
Dove in,
he make the Olympic team, no splash.
Dude, I hope that everyone's okay, but yeah, maybe don't jump into a moving car, and maybe that kind of shit won't happen to you. But yeah, that's it, man. That's my ice up. I'm icing up the guy jumping in the car. And if you're gonna be in a mosh pit, watch your face, dude, because people are throwing spinning back kicks out here, bro. It's not even safe. It's not even safe out here, dude. So make sure you protect yourself at all times. It's like a UFC fight, you know what I mean?
Shit's great. Then look, check back with us throughout the week. We'll bring you some content. We're trying to rock, the beat check on Wednesdays. Still always lining up people. Friday, free for all, guaranteed. And the Tuesday night show, longest running Panthers podcast around, the C3 Panthers podcast. All you got to do is be a part of the community. Join in the chat, smash the thumbs up button. We're on Discord. You can download the audio podcast. Just check the show notes. There's all types of details how you can further engage with the show. CK, should I watch The Last of Us show?
Yeah.
Have you?
Hell yeah.
Yes, very good.
Should I buy the game first?
No, you don't need to play the game. I mean, it's a really good game if you want to play it, but
they're very fun. Yeah, you would probably love them, but yeah, you don't have to before you watch the show. I still haven't seen episode 1 yet. I'm going to.
Can't wait to pirate.
Very good.
Pirate it. CK, how can they get after you too?
You can find me on the Twitters. On the Twitters, you can find me over there at Codizzle Allen. I've been getting into people's comment sections because I've been getting irritated with people, but come give me a follow, give me a little, hit that notification thing and say, get notified every time I tweet, because there's stuff regarding video games that I tweet about. There's stuff regarding Panthers that I tweet about. I rarely ever go into the world of politics, just for the fact of I would rather Twitter be a place I can escape that bullshit, but it doesn't always happen. So yeah, come give your boy a little follow.
I tell you, this is the reason I started this podcast, was to stop talking about politics because it stressed me out, and I'm into that stuff, but I love arguing with you fools. Yeah, and it's cool to argue with you about sports. And Cody and I can go on and be best friends still. And I can tell him how ridiculous he is about Trevina Lawrence. But you know what's not ridiculous, Cody, is Greg rocks a freaking great podcast on Friday nights. Pop culture, the things that you want to listen to. Tell us, Greg, how we can find you on Friday nights.
Man, you know what? I agree with you, Tony. I think it is great. And for the dozens and tens of people who listen to us, it's fantastic. But we do cover everything media-wise as far as the big stuff. I think this Friday we're definitely talking about The Last of Us. We're going into all kinds of different things, but The Last of Us is a big discussion. And I just bought my tickets for the new Ant-Man movie. So
okay,
very soon coming up. That's going to be a fantastic viewing. Oh my gosh, it's going to be a good movie.
You gotta rock the Hunters, bro.
That's right. Well, look, we cover just about everything there is, media, television, movies, comic book wise or book wise. We're on there Friday nights, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So come check us out. Right after the free for all, come check us out. Hop in the same or the next chat room and be part of the show. It's a fun time.
Gotta do the Hunters. The Hunters, man. I binge watched season 1, which was made like 3 years ago. I didn't even watch it, and the season 2 just came out.
Yeah,
crazy good show. Cody Lack, how can they get after you?
Yeah, find me on Twitter at Cody Lack, CODYLAC. Oh, by the way, this Saturday, I'm going to be on Desmond Johnson.
Oh,
yeah, Desmond Johnson. He's from the Believe in Panthers podcast with Jonathan Stewart. He invited me on to do another debate with my Twitter sparring partner, Monty from the 4-Man Rush. So we're going to be doing that Sunday at 11 a.m. We're going to be doing it via StreamYard, but I believe he said it's also going to be on the radio as well. So that's really cool, man. So check it out.
Yeah.
Make sure follow me on Twitter. I'll post all the links to it before it happens. That'll be this Saturday at 11 a.m. And then every Friday, man, you already know, come and join and be a part of the Friday Free for All. The show for Panther fans, by Panther fans. Be a part of the action. Come tell us what you think about the coaching search, what direction you think the Panthers should go in. And last but not least, find all my written content on drafttech.com, where I am the analyst.
We'll be back next Tuesday night, 9 p.m. Again, Friday free for all. Help us continue to grow this community together. Cody Lashney, take us out of here.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, until next time, keep pounding.